A few years ago, members of the iRacing V8 Supercar community came together to articulate an idea. Then, on August 10, 2014, the V8 Supercars Online Premier Series had its first race day at Circuit of the Americas, and Madison Down claimed the victory.
Madison Down, the winner. Phil Sell second, Hampstead third, your podium, and Sean Kelly not far off it in fourth. For what a result, what a race.
This first test season, however, would go to TTL's Richard Hampstead. 2015 was a defying year in V8SCOPS, the first year-long championship in iRacing V8 Supercar history. The season was filled with many highs and lows. Few drivers were triumphant, most faced heartbreak. Young gun Jared Fildsell was crowned our champion. But in 2016, it's a new championship and a new opportunity for our passionate sim racers. Who will be champion?
Hello one and all, and welcome to V8's Online's live broadcast of the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premier Series. You're watching round 14, the Sao Paulo Super Sprint from Interlagos in Brazil. My name is Reese Gardner, bringing you this event tonight, and joining me in the commentary box is my good mate Dylan Shepherd. Dylan, welcome. I'm not sure we have Shep at the moment, but nonetheless, we're in Split 2 qualifying at the moment, and we will be bringing you live pictures from that very, very soon. We've got a 29-lap race, 25 laps, sorry, in Split 2 at the moment. And they've got a 50% fuel tank restriction. Getting ready, gearing up for this race. We've just gone over 2 minutes to go in qualifying, and I'll give you a bit of a position update on that. Brenton O'Brien is currently on pole on a 1:33.375. Jamie Owens in second place, only 0.02 of a second behind. He's currently on a lap, and we'll see if he can improve that at all. He cannot. I think that may have been an outlap. In third place, Michael Taliancic. In fourth place, Simon Black. Wayne Taylor in fifth. Sixth is Shannon Mason. Seventh is Daryl Carter. Scott Griffiths in eighth. Ninth is Timothy Faulkner. In 10th place is Glenn Brockhurst. And rounding out the field at the moment is Graham Filan. So a very, very small turnout here for the Split 2 race at the moment. But Split 1 is going to be coming up extremely soon. Right after this race finishes, in fact, and we're going to have a full field of some of Australia's best sim racers ready to tackle this Interlagos circuit for 2 races worth of competition.
Looks like we're set up for a big night of racing with about 3 races for the viewers tonight, so it should be good action-packed, especially with these sprint rounds. Everyone goes at it 110%, which would be good to see.
Yeah, certainly. This 25-lap race, Dylan, is, of course, as I said, with the 50% fuel tank restriction, so the drivers are going to have to pit at some point during the race, and it's looking pretty close up the front between O'Brien and Owens, at least in lap time.
Yeah, that's it. It'll be good to see all the boys that are close together go out for some good hard racing, especially these dev guys. Like, just because they're Split 2 does not mean they don't have the racecraft or talent that the top guys do. It's just matter of not being able to get a lap time during the week. It's all about number of laps, so I think they're going to show that they can be anywhere. Like, they will be as good as the top guys, and they'll be out there to prove themselves.
Yeah, certainly. As we see Jamie Owens jump into the pits, that's the end of his run. He will not be able to beat Brenton O'Brien. As Brenton just goes through turn 1 now. That's the checkered flag in this qualifying session. And of course, in the broadcast chat, Mr. Ryan Shelton clarifying that it is a mostly Australian field in V8SCOPS. Hello, Ryan. Thank you for joining us, and perhaps we'll see you in Split 1. Definitely looking forward to seeing that, and seeing you and Tony Kloosterman taking the fight, representing the continent of North America.
It's always great seeing. Oh, sorry.
No, no worries, still
always great seeing one or two guys from overseas having a crack, because they bring over some good talent sometimes, and it's always great to see them have a run.
Yeah, certainly. We're very much an equal opportunity provider here at V8SCOPS, not just limited to the Aussies. Anyone can have a go. So, as the clock ticks down, guys that are on laps will be finishing them, but I'm not seeing much of a change. But Simon Black seems to have made his way up to 3rd from 4th place. Graham Fyland still sitting in the pits, hasn't set a time at the moment. Although I suppose with only an 11-car field, I guess not qualifying doesn't really matter as much.
Yeah, that's it. It's not going to hurt them too much to start from the pits. They might want to stay out of the first lap trouble as well. So, yeah, we'll see all that play out during the race.
Yeah, we certainly will. Clock ticking down, so it looks like nobody is currently on a lap or finishing one. So, I guess that's your grid set. So, Brenton O'Brien on pole position for your Split 2 race. Jamie Owens in 2nd. 3rd, Simon Black. Shannon Mason will line up in 4th place. Michael Talyancic in 5th place. 6th place is Wayne Taylor. Daryl Carter in 7th. 8th, Scott Griffiths. Timothy Faulkner in 9th place. 10th place, Glenn Brockhurst. And as we tick over into the race session, Graham Fyland will start in 11th and last place on the grid. So, now we begin the 2-minute wait for the drivers to jump onto the grid and get racing.
Simon will just run through the briefing with the drivers to let everyone know some rules, just so they know what they've got to do. And yeah, just in case anything changes round to round, a bit of an update. So yeah, should be good.
Certainly. It's pretty cool weather out there, all things considered. We've got partly cloudy conditions, 24 degrees Celsius air temperature, and the track is 29 degrees Celsius. So it's a fairly cool track. So the cars will be a little bit skatey at first, but once they heat up, there's going to be a lot of grip available to these drivers, and they'll be wanting to light up those rears a fair bit off the start, try and get some heat into those rear tyres and some stability in the rear end. So around this Interlagos circuit, very twisty, very hilly. Having a car that's nice and balanced and easy to drive is definitely a plus.
Yep, you're exactly right. The first lap will be interesting on cold tyres, especially on such a windy circuit. Till the temps come up, there will be a bit of a struggle, and then throughout the race we'll see who's got the setup nailed down. And obviously with some of the setups bleeding from the top split into this split, it'll help out. But here's some engines revving, so we must be right to go.
Yep, we are. We are green. So, Brenton O'Brien versus Jamie Owens into turn 1. Who is going to have the edge? Looks like O'Brien's just ahead. Jamie Owens will have the inside line, but Brenton cuts across the front of him and is going to lead through turn 1. As the drivers file through very tricky opening turns of Interlagos, this constantly increasing left-hander down the back straight. We see a couple of cars getting a bit squirrely there in the background. Owens having a look up the inside of O'Brien, and yeah, just having a look at the inside line, but he stays tucked in.
Yep, good stuff. Right, lead the first start of this lap. Hopefully he'll be trying to get his legs out and see if he can get a gap early on.
Yep, field in single file for the most part at the moment. Simon Black now currently facing a little bit of pressure here from... oh, Jesus, Simon Black really getting side by side there with Jamie Owens. Sorry for that delay, guys. Had my buttons messed up a little bit. But yeah, Simon Black almost getting around the outside of Jamie Owens. But now he's fallen back behind, and Shannon Mason really manhandling that Falcon in the background.
Yeah, as we can see, the cold tyres have definitely caught some of them out. Jamie made some mistake right behind Brenton, and that allowed Simon to have an opportunity, but well, could not get it pulled off, and they'll all go finishing this first lap up single file.
Yeah, they certainly will. Simon Black is going to pull out of Jamie Owens' draft, and he's going to have a look up the inside of turn 1. Owens stays wide. They still go side by side, and Simon Black almost spins and yeah, loses quite a bit of ground there to Jamie Owens. So unfortunately a failed pass attempt by Simon Black, but he is going to file through and go into 5th, I believe.
Yep, he'll slide in behind Michael Talanasic, and yeah, it just seemed like he just couldn't pull it up in time, but he made the apex and just got on the throttle and just lost it. So yeah, cold tyres and I still haven't warmed up, and yeah, unlucky, but he'll push on and try and get back to where he was.
Yeah, certainly. Got a car off in the background, I'm hearing? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, Glenn Brockhurst. Brockhurst, car 34, looking very sorry there, with the front left of his car crumpled in. I'm not quite sure what happened to him, but he is now running far behind everyone else, as we see Owens now under pressure up the front from Shannon Mason as they come up to the end of the lap, this final braking zone, and then really, really long acceleration zone. Focus on Shannon Mason at the moment, trying to chase down Jamie Owens. Brenton O'Brien, though, up the front is looking pretty good.
Yep, you're exactly right. He's pulled over a couple of tenths lead already on the cars behind, which are still scrapping for that second spot with Jamie and Shannon. Yeah, just turning out all right.
Yeah, certainly, as Owens continuing to defend there from Mason, who seems to have gotten a little bit of a kick in these last couple of laps. Meanwhile, Owens starting to crack a little, perhaps. Still managing to hold on just for second.
We have 2x2 coming into turn 3 there with Wayne Taylor and Scott Griffiths, and also Darryl Carter and Timothy Faulkner side by side.
Yeah, wow, goodness me. Yeah, getting a bit hairy here. Oh, Carter side by side. There's contact there with Faulkner. Faulkner just making a bit of
and
contact.
Griffiths is sliding into the hairpin as well. He's managed to pull it up as well.
Yeah, wow, this is some really good racing here in the back half of the field. Fantastic stuff. In these braking zones here at Interlagos, it's really easy to send it up the inside as I see Faulkner go wide through one of those hairpins, and that's going to bring Carter right back into it.
Yeah, the fight is on for these positions from 6, 7, 8 and 9. They'll all be trying to get up the field. And yeah, still scrapping it out on coming on to lap 4 of the race.
Yeah, certainly. We're on board with Darryl Carter at the moment in that Redback Racing Team Ford Falcon. Just following All-Star Motorsports' Timothy Faulkner. 082 versus 042 coming into turn 1, and we see a little bit of a slide there from Faulkner through turns 1, 2 and 3. Seems like Faulkner just has it at the moment. Oh, a little bit of a slide. Big slide, actually, from Darryl Carter going through turn 3. It's so easy to lose it there in a V8.
Yeah, you're certainly right. And looks like the boys are starting to bunch up here behind Wayne Taylor.
Oh,
Scott
yeah,
Griffiths,
Wayne Taylor's actually, let past Scott Griffiths, and now that's going to, oh, goodness me, side by side here in the really narrow part of the circuit, Faulkner versus Taylor. Faulkner has the outside, though. He's going to have a little bit more traction there. but of course, Wayno has the...
Oh, that
oh
made
no!
contact.
Oh, big contact there. That's Wayne Taylor there. Oh, absolutely just palmed right off the track there. That's a real shame to see, but yeah, a turn like that, it's very difficult to go side by side through there without some real major awareness of what's going on around you. But yeah, unfortunate victim there, Wayne Taylor.
Yeah, we're going to see that when there's hard racing out there. Just could not quite pull it up, which is really unfortunate because we were looking for a good battle there, but yeah, keep going.
Yep, certainly. Well, behind Brenton O'Brien, from second back, there seems to be a bit of a train forming. Owens, Mason, Taliancic and Black all in a row here, coming through turn 2 and 3.
Yeah, and Brenton hasn't pulled too far away, but I thought he might have had a bit of a bigger gap, but the boys behind him all trying 110% to get around each other and to the front, and it looks like Simon took a look at Michael, but just having a look at the moment, he'll be looking to get back up to that top 3 where he was before.
Yeah, certainly. Simon Black usually playing an admin role in V8SCOPS, but he does like to get out there and have a steer from time to time. As we see Mason go wide, and there's a car stopped on the track there. Who is that? That's Brockhurst again. I'm wondering what's happening with him. He's just flat out stopped there. Obviously some kind of technical dramas or some such for him, but Taliancic versus Black at the moment, coming through the real slow part of the lap. Taliancic taking a bit of a narrower line into that hairpin as Black tries to get past him. Black really looking racy in that slower part of the circuit. Once he gets to that faster corner, he seems to fall back slightly.
Yeah, looks like Glenn Brockhurst has just been having some dramas with some of his devices, I think, because it seemed like lap 1 on that he's just been struggling, and yeah, just a few fortunate errors from it, I believe.
Yeah, that's a shame though for Brockhurst. Hopefully he can get those sorted and get back out there. Start doing some laps. We're hearing that it's extremely likely that Simon Black will be running the setup that Jared Philsell may be using in Split 1. Of course, they are technically teammates at alliances, should we say. So that'll be some good testing data for Jared Philsell.
Oh, we see
how
Owens
this setup performs. Oh no! Oh, Owens, that's a real shame for him. What happened there? He just took a bit too much curb, lost the rear.
Yeah, very
game, set, match.
Oh, looks, yeah, they're all fighting it out still, but bringing up what you were just saying before with the setups, some of the teams in the top split will be bleeding their setups down into the second split drivers such as Brenton and Simon. So all the drivers in top split will be watching to see how they go over race distance and might make some adjustments depending on the feedback of these drivers.
Yeah, certainly. It's second split serves many purposes here. As you said, testing ground for setups and yeah, basically just maybe a dress rehearsal, I suppose, would be the appropriate term. Plus, gives some lesser-known drivers who weren't able to make it into Split 1 a chance to show what they're made of as they come back down the straight again. Mason getting closed up here by Taliancic. Just pulls out of the draft a bit, has a little bit of a look into turn 1, and Black really on the back of Michael now. As Michael just runs a little wide on the exit of 1, Black is going to have the optimal line through 2 and 3 because of that. Gap between O'Brien and Mason is now 2.3 seconds. Of course, Mason won't be focusing too hard, though, on O'Brien up the front. He's got 2 cars behind him there.
Yeah, O'Brien would be pretty happy because the gap was only at 1.1 before the mistake from Owens earlier, and now it's opened back up to 2 from these guys, so he'll be pretty happy at the moment to see these guys keep battling it out, but Simon really looking for an opportunity here from these two.
Yeah, certainly. Taliancic It's amazing to see the amount of alternate lines that people can take through this section of track here at Interlagos. A very old circuit here with some very old style sort of elevation changes and lines you can take through many of these corners, and just seeing the kind of variations that drivers take is really interesting to see. But they're on lap 7 at the moment, coming around to start lap 8, and these three are still pretty much locked together. Wait for the draft to come into play here towards the end of the straight.
Simon's dropped a little bit off Michael. He'll probably get back into him by the end of the straight, but there's a bit of a gap forming between them. I don't know if it's just pace or some mistakes on that lap, but yeah, the race is starting to spread out a bit.
Yeah, certainly is. Seeing Mason a little bit more on the ragged edge as we see Brockhurst jumping out of the pits beside them. Yeah, really getting spaced out here. This is a 25-lap race that these guys are going to be doing. Mason running a little bit wide at the exit of 4. That'll be an off-track that Shannon won't want. Goodness me, and you can see as they come through Ferradura that Mason's just a lot rougher on the car than Taliancic is. Taliancic, you can see the smooth lines.
Yeah, we might see that play out later in the race, but with a pit stop, they can probably afford to chew their tyres up a little bit. Over a longer stint, it might hurt, but you might get away with it here if he's going to take tyres.
Yeah, certainly that is the question. Are they going to take tyres? Because I'm not quite sure what the word is on strategy around here, so it'll be interesting to see what drivers try out. But Taliancic right on the back of Mason now as they come through the final turns, through these flat-out kinks onto the start-finish straight. Taliancic closing way up now. He's going to run alongside Shannon Mason, and it's going to be into turn 1. Oh, Taliancic with a slide. Locks it, hits the inside wall. Oh my goodness, Taliancic did really well to save that, but that's of course gotten Simon Black right onto the back of him, and they're going to go side by side through turn 3. Oh, Taliancic a little bit of a twitch there, but Simon Black is going to have the advantage there into the straight. Taliancic almost outbrakes himself coming into turn 4. That will have frazzled Michael a little bit, undoubtedly. But that is a position change. Simon Black back up to 3rd.
Yep, Simon Black will be putting his eyes forward onto Mason and trying to close that gap back up. But yeah, an unfortunate error there by Michael. That's really high speed section.
Whoa, Shannon Mason! Sorry, he just lost the rear there coming into that hairpin. And that's going to bring Taliancic and Black right onto the back of him once again. Shannon Mason really he only seems to barely have that car under control.
Yes, the heavy braking areas here are definitely catching some of the drivers out, I think.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, we've got to remember a lot of these braking zones, or a few of them anyway, are curved. And of course, V8 Supercar doesn't like curved braking zones, or, to be honest, curves of any kind. So it's definitely a challenge to get the car through those kinds of turns. But now, Shannon Mason, as we see Simon Black pulling into the pits there. Black has elected to take his pit stop on lap 10 out of 25. So that's basically left Taliancic free to try and chase down Mason once again. The question is, when are these guys going to pit?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Simon Black electing to go for a little bit of an undercut. I'd say he'll be taking tyres, and I don't think he used as much tyre as the other guys. His car was a bit more under control, so he probably can afford to do a bit of an undercut and know that his tyres will be there at the end of the race.
Yeah, very good point there. Taliancic still taking those super smooth lines. Definitely being better on the tyres than Mason would be, whose car I can see just moving around in almost every corner. Meanwhile, up the front, Brenton O'Brien is continuing to just sedately lead the race. Gap was at 2.9 seconds last time by as they crossed the line. It's now 2.7, so Brenton's lost a little bit of ground here to Shannon Mason, but still, A 2.7 second lead in a V8 supercar is nothing to sneeze at, and you might even say it's comfortable.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Having the pole position start has kind of helped Brenton, spread his legs and get out there. But it kind of shows that the guys behind aren't slower than him. It's just all about track position at this stage.
Yeah, certainly is. As we see Shannon Mason. That's the thing with Interlagos. It's very difficult to tell when someone is actually going to jump into the pits because on this version of the track, at least, this dates from 2013. The most recent changes to the track aren't reflected as we see Talyancic have a bit of a slide in the background. The entry to pits is a bit different now in real life. There isn't the pit entry isn't actually part of the final corner per se. So here in iRacing, you will see drivers cutting across the pit entry to get a faster sort of line through the final turn, and so it makes it a bit hard to determine whether they're actually going to jump into pits. But it looks like Mason and Talyancic are leaving it just a bit.
Yeah, I think Talyancic is starting to fall a bit behind Mason as well. The gap's 1.3 seconds that last time by. Yeah, so definitely starting to spread out. Probably should check up in Simon. Yeah, Simon seems to be going good as well. He's got some clean air, which is good. He won't be fighting with other guys, so if he can just stay out of trouble and get some nice, clean, fast laps out of his fresh tyres, use that undercut, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
Yeah, certainly. All Simon needs to focus on now is just getting those lines down, keeping it nice and smooth, don't push too hard. He seems to be doing a pretty good job of that so far. And now we watch once again up the front, Mason and Talyancic still electing to stay out of pits, so they're going for a late stop. Definitely seems that way. Meanwhile, Simon Black has just passed Timothy Faulkner. So that's Simon to 9th.
Yeah, I don't think Timothy... Yeah, I don't think Timothy's pitted yet. Looking at his lap times, there doesn't seem to be any big one, so a bit unfortunate for him that he still has to make a stop.
Meanwhile, it looks like further back in the field, our second place starter, Jamie Owens, ended up taking his pit stop on lap 14, it seems, so he's good to the end.
There's a bit of a gap between Simon and Jamie, so I don't know if something's happened to Simon between these two boys stopping, or maybe Jamie's just had better pace. Yeah,
I'm not sure. Yeah, definitely. We'll be taking a look at that later on. But the gap up the front is decreasing. Last time by, it was 2.3 seconds at the line, and yeah, Brenton O'Brien starting to get chased down a bit by Shannon Mason.
Yeah, see him, Shannon not under pressure with the boys behind him. He's just been able to focus on his lines and his pace, and yeah. Yeah, as the gap comes down to 2.1, so another couple tenths that lap, so I think we might be on for a race near the end here.
Yeah, definitely will be. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how this turns out, as we see Scott Griffiths coming in for his pit stop in car 41.
And the Synergy Sim Racing boys behind him will be making the calls for him and helping him out there to make the right call. So, yeah, good to see Scott Griffiths having a run. He's a top bloke, and yeah, seems to be running well. Wayne Taylor pulls in the pits in front of him as well with the Hybrid Racing Simulations pink car. Beautiful looking car as well.
Yeah, certainly. Wayne Taylor away now. Car number 69. Exiting pit lane, and one thing I should point out, the pit exit here at Interlagos is really quite unique among most racetracks. The actual pit exit is halfway down the straight after turn 3, so it actually follows the line of the first 3 turns. So exiting pits is something that you actually have to be skilled at here at Interlagos. Your ability to drive on a narrow piece of road is very valuable.
Yeah, you never really know where, like you might look in your relative and see the cars behind you, but you don't really know where you're going to pull out with them until you're right on that straight with them. So it's always keeps you on your toes on your pit exit.
It certainly does. Gap between the leaders is still decreasing, although by a smaller amount now. It was 2.25 seconds at the line last time. It's at 2 seconds flat now, so it should be. I'm actually really looking forward to this. Depending on when these guys pit, it should be a great battle for the lead at the end. Well, I think once Brenton O'Brien comes round to start his next lap, I think it'd be a good idea to go on board with him for a lap around Interlagos. Just show us how it's done around Brazil's premier circuit, as we see Brenton just taking a nice smooth line through that hairpin, down through the left-hand sweeper, and now Juncao, the final turn, well, the final real turn here at Interlagos. The rest are just flat-out kinks. We're going to go on board for Brenton O'Brien, and we're going to go silent for the next 1.5 minutes as the runner of Evolution Racing Australia takes you on a lap around the Autodromo José Carlos Paz. And Brenton O'Brien pulls into the pits. And that is the end of that. And as we went on board with him, Mason and Taliancic went into the pits. And I just wanted to point out, Taliancic overshot his pit box, unfortunately. We weren't able to catch that, but yeah, that's basically put paid to the battle between second and third.
Yep, Simon Black was able to get past Michael from that era, and he's not too far behind Mason, so if his pace is good, he might be able to get back on the back of him here.
Yeah, definitely. This is quite interesting. Mason will be on fresher tyres, but Black's tyres will be a little bit more broken in, so to speak, and you can see it. Black is actually gaining on Mason a little bit through the first part of turn 3 there.
Also, look at this gap between the first and second, Brenton and Mason. I think the gap's quite small here now compared to before the pit stops.
Yeah, goodness me. Yeah, that's quite interesting. The gap's really oh no, Simon Black up the inside of Shannon Mason there. So now it's going to be Simon Black chasing down Brenton O'Brien for the effective lead of this race. Goodness me, this is really heating up here as we come into the final half of the race.
Yeah, we decided to go on board for a lap, and it all starts to unfold from there. So good to see the boys are really starting to turn it on for us.
Yeah, definitely good to see. As Black is really on the back of O'Brien now. Yeah, this is your effective top 3 you're seeing on screen at the moment. Incredibly interesting battle. We are on board with Simon Black chasing down Brenton O'Brien and still facing quite a bit of pressure from Shannon Mason. O'Brien just getting used to his car after coming out of the pits. But of course Black has the advantage of a couple of extra laps. He's got a bit of a run here down the straight. He's going to try and go up the inside. Oh, wasn't able to do it. But can he get a little bit of an overlap here at turn 1? He's going to try and go for the pass. They're alongside. Brenton tries to hold it around the outside of turn 1. He's going to have the inside, and there's going to be contact. There's contact between our top 2. Oh, what a shame. That was going to be a really great battle. That's Brenton O'Brien and Simon Black making heavy contact there at turn 2. I don't know. I don't know. What's your call on that, Shep? I think both of them could have done something a little bit different there, but I think mainly the blame would lie with Simon. Probably should have left Brenton a bit of room there on the inside.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very tough call. You know, it's always close racing, especially in these windy corners. Look, I think Simon was just trying to get onto his line. I don't think he realised that Brenton was still there, and Brenton was also almost had 2 wheels in the grass on the inside as well. So I know Brenton was, and he was also almost behind his rear bar of Simon. So he probably could have just let him go and have another look, but it's just one of them incidents where the drivers are going at 110% and don't want to give each other an inch, and yeah, unfortunately that's the way it's ended.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but fortunate for Shannon Mason, who has inherited the lead of this race and has quite the gap now to Michael Taliancic.
Yeah, Michael, he'll be happy with that as well, with making a mistake in the pits, and it's all, yeah, he's still into P2, so yeah, another lifeline for him.
Yeah, certainly. All he's got to do really now is keep it on track. But of course, Taliancic, after that overshooting of his pit box, will have a little bit of fire in the belly now, and he'll be wanting to try and get as much of that lost time back as he possibly can. And you can already see it. Mason's last lap was a 35.2. Taliancic's last lap, a 34.3. So Taliancic bringing in nearly a full second on Shannon Mason. I feel like, depending on how fast Taliancic can be, we may have another battle on for the lead. We have 8 laps to go.
Yeah, also hard luck for Brenton. He's led most of the race as well before that incident, so yeah, a bit of hard luck for him. He might have just taken a bit too much fuel, thought he had a bit of a safe gap, and obviously just brought the boys closer, and yeah, a bit of pressure and hard racing, and it's unfortunate for him as well because he was looking to have a fantastic race as well.
Yeah, certainly we've seen a few winners and a few losers in this race so far, and I have to say I'm actually impressed by the quality of the action that we've seen, especially with there being only 11 cars out there at the moment. So I think this bodes well for Split 1 with maybe with over 3 times the amount of cars.
Yeah, you're
we've just been informed that there was a good gap forming between Dale Carter and Scott Griffiths, but I just noticed Scott running majorly wide out of turn 3, and now he's getting chased down a bit by Wayne Taylor, so that's unfortunate. Another battle that could have been, but ultimately never was.
Yeah, I still see the front here. The gap closed quite substantially between Michael and Mason in that last one. Mason only a 34.3 with Michael a 33.8, his fastest lap of the race, so he sees an opportunity here, and I think he's pushing for it.
Yeah, certainly is. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes. Mason did a 34.3 last time by. We're gonna take a look at the lap times these guys will be setting. Brenton O'Brien, meanwhile, a bit closer to Taliancic than I thought he'd be, which is quite interesting. So Shannon Mason a 34.2, Taliancic a 34.1. So yeah, these guys have both really turned it on at the moment.
And Brenton with a 33.6 just before making a mistake into turn 1. He also closed the gap up on Michael, but yeah, just made another mistake in turn 1. So yeah, it seems like the boys are all pushing, and yeah, if any of them makes a mistake, the other one's going to get an advantage out of it.
Yeah, exactly. As Shannon Mason still pushing that car as hard as he possibly can. As they come into this really twisty part of the track, it's almost like a rally stage or a hill climb stage, the amount of hairpins that this section has. Real test of your car's mechanical grip and your driving ability.
Also one that, yeah, also I think tyres are a big, tyres make a big difference here as well. Like, if once your tyres wear, you see your times drop quite substantially as well. So keep that in mind for the next 2 races for the top split.
Yeah, certainly. The lap count for this race is a bit of a midpoint between the 2 split 1 races. The first split 1 race is going to be a 23 lap out and out sprint, and then it's going to be a 29 lap feature race with a compulsory pit stop. So this is a bit of a midpoint between those 2 races, but it's ended up with a bit of a face all of its own, so to speak.
Yeah, it's always good to see the admin behind V8SCOPS mixing it up. It makes good viewing for the racers and the viewers and us commentators as well. It makes us get to call great races.
Yeah, certainly. Looking at the gaps between the leaders, Mason's last lap was a 34.1, a 33.9 for Taliancic, still gaining on Mason just a little bit, lap after lap after lap. They're on their 4th last lap at the moment. They'll be coming around to start lap 22 this time by. I should say they're on their 5th last lap at the moment, sorry. Getting the numbers a little flummoxed there.
Mason's starting out a P4, a bit of an underdog I reckon in this race, but we saw in the early stages of the race he looked racy. He didn't get to the front straight away, but over the course of the race he's played it smart, avoided trouble, and it's definitely paid off.
Yeah, certainly. That's his driving style, I think, led me to make a bit of a wrong assumption about him. I'm actually quite impressed to see him out there in the lead, having stayed out of trouble. He may push his car very hard, but he's managed to avoid actually hitting other guys out on track. So, yeah, props to him for that.
Yeah, and you can tell with his aggressive style on the car, it's hurt a bit in these later stages that I brought up before, because the gap now down to 1.8. I don't know if it's enough for Michael to have a crack at the end, but these tyres on Shannon might be wearing a bit more than he'd like, so it could potentially put Michael up the back of him in the end.
Yes, of course. We're focused on Shannon Mason at the moment on screen, and I can see the gap physically diminishing now between Mason and Taliancic. I'm really excited to see how this turns out, because Taliancic, a 33.8 last time by, versus Shannon Mason's 34.6. Oh man, I'm really looking forward to this. Brenton O'Brien in the 33s as well, still on a 33.9. Gap below 2 seconds now between the top 2. As they come around to start lap 23, I guess the clock is ticking for Michael T.
we'll see the gap as they cross the line here.
Oh, Mason with a 33.8. Taliancic with a 33.8. Good response there from Mason. Live gap 1.8 seconds.
Yeah,
Can Mason hold on?
I think you're all right about Michael just overshooting his pit box. It's an easy error. I'm sure all of us have done it once in our time here. So, yeah, he might have just... Yeah, you know, sometimes when you're angry, you drive a bit better, but sometimes the other way. But I think, yeah, Michael's really just focused 100% on this, and yeah, he's fought back quite well. Really impressed with the way he's been driving too.
Yeah, certainly. I'm wondering, I can't help but wonder what this battle may have looked like if he hadn't overshot his pit box. But nonetheless, it's made for a really good show of Michael Taliancic's skill.
Yeah, and Brenton O'Brien's done everything he could as well. Just small mistake, you know, unlucky, but I'm sure if that wouldn't have happened, we would have been looking at a really great battle between Shannon, Michael, Brenton and Simon. But yeah, these things happen, and yeah, it's a bit unfortunate.
It definitely is, but still, we managed to get some entertaining racing out of it, and maybe a couple of shots for the highlights package, eh?
That's it. So Shannon crosses the line with another 33.8 and Michael with a 34.1. So Shannon might have just been told, look, Michael's catching you a bit. We need to put your head down. He could have been conserving tyres so he could have a push in these last few laps. But yeah, Shannon's definitely responded with the quick times from Michael to make sure he maintains that gap, pulling 2 tenths on him in that last lap.
Brenton with a 33.6. Getting close to his fastest of a 33.5.
Yeah, Brendan pitted a lap later than the other guy, so he just might have a bit better tyre. So yeah, that will help the guys in race 2 of our top split guys. So yeah, they'll keep that in mind. But it was interesting. Sorry, you go.
Nah, you go on, Shep.
I was just going to say, it is interesting because the times Brenton are pulling now, after taking his tyres a lap later, are really good, and it's showing that his car is good over the run. But we saw when even though he pitted a lap later than everyone and came out with a bit of a gap, I think the cold tyres on his car and the warm tyres on the other guy's cars put them right on the back of him, and that's what caused our battle. So I think there's really a lot to keep in mind for the race later on if the weather's cold.
Certainly. So fastest lap 5.89 for Brenton O'Brien on lap 19. And Shannon Mason has started his final lap. And at this point, looks like he may just have this. If he can just hold on, touch wood, no commentator's curse.
Yeah, gap of 1.5. All it will take is a small mistake and it will put Michael right on the back of him. But watching how he's been going in this race, he's one of the drivers that hasn't made a mistake yet, so I don't think we will see one from him. But again, touch wood, don't want to curse him.
Yeah, certainly. Taliancic I saw ran a little wide in the last turn on the penultimate lap.
Yeah, he'll be pushing for the win.
Yeah, he definitely will be, but I think he's pushing a little too hard at the moment. I've seen him locking a couple of tyres. There he goes, he locks up again. Locking up into that hairpin. He's really desperate for this. He doesn't have much time left. Gap is 1.5 seconds. Taliancic will be pushing so hard. You can see the frustration in his driving here at the moment. That could have been me in the lead, probably, he's thinking. But Shannon Mason is going to round Junkao. And yeah, it's basically flat out from here. Our top 3 coming out of the final turns together. And, I mean, what can you say? Shannon Mason, fantastic job from the number 55, rounding the final turn. Shannon Mason is going to be your victor here in Split 2. Michael Taliancic in second and Brenton O'Brien in third.
Yeah, good racing from the guys. You know, to finish 1.3 seconds apart after all that, I think yeah, it was a really good race, really turned it on for us throughout the whole race. Really good job by these guys, and yeah, Shannon just kept his nose clean, even though he was quite aggressive on the car, but not aggressive with other drivers, so really good to see.
Fantastic stuff, and Simon Black is going to have to finish 4th after what was looking like a very promising run. Carter in 5th, Griffiths making his way up from 8th to 6th. Very good to see. Wayne Taylor in 7th place, 8th Jamie Owens, 9th Graham Filand coming through the first turn and giving the inside wall a bit of a headbutt. And Timothy Faulkner is currently finishing up his final lap. He's going to cross the line in 10th. Unfortunately, Glenn Brockhurst 3 laps down. He's going to finish 11th and last, but still, good on him for plugging away. So there we go. That is your final result there for Split 2 here at Interlagos for round 14 of the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series. Split 1 is coming up very soon, and I think it might be an opportune time to go on a bit of a break, because Split 1 qualifying, I believe, has literally just started. So we're going to take a break and bring that to you as soon as we can. You're watching the Lenovo V8 Supercar Series on V8's Online, the best race here. Brazil, a country with a rich history and sporting culture, and one of the greatest contributors to motorsport legend. Fitting, then, that its premier circuit in Sao Paulo is considered one of the world's greatest challenges. This weekend, we race at the Autodromo José Carlos Paz, otherwise known as Interlagos. This circuit is a throwback to ages past, while still remaining a great example of the modern racetrack. Its facilities may not be as clinical as other F1 venues, but out on the tarmac, this track is a treat. Its lap length is short for an F1 circuit at only 4.3 kilometers, but one gets a lot of racetrack crammed in there. Fast but twisty, with dips and rises at almost every one of its 15 corners, and with its fair share of heavy braking zones, Interlagos is a circuit for both the driver and the racer. The story of Interlagos begins in the 1920s. The world was in the middle of an economic boom, and a real estate company led by Luis Romero Sanson began planning a large expansion to Sao Paulo's metro area. Housing and a large sporting complex, including a motor racing circuit, were slated to be built between the 2 reservoirs that supplied the city with drinking water. It was from these reservoirs that the site got its name. The French urban planner Alfred Agache was working on the project, and the site reminded him of the town of Interlaken in Switzerland. The name literally means between lakes, so the site in Brazil became known as Interlagos, in reference to the Swiss town. Unfortunately, the 1929 stock market crash and Brazil's political climate meant that the plans came to nothing. In the following years, motor racing was held in Rio and Sao Paulo on dangerous public road circuits that resulted in many injuries and fatalities. The president of Brazil's Automobile Club urged Sanson to finish the Interlagos circuit in response, so that racing could continue in a safe environment. Sanson designed the original layout of Interlagos, taking inspiration from Roosevelt Field Raceway in the USA, Brooklands in England, and Montlhéry in France. The track's original layout was a nearly 8-kilometre maze of hairpins and sweepers. Much of this layout is actually still there today, used as parking and access roads. Ground was broken in 1938, and the track was eventually inaugurated in 1940. A lack of funding meant that initially there were no pit facilities or grandstands. As the decades went on, though, Interlagos gained stature, hosting many events up to international level. It was such that by the 1970s, it had been selected for inclusion in the Formula One World Championship. The first official Brazilian Grand Prix was held in 1973 to great reception, but by the end of the decade, drivers were becoming concerned at the deterioration of the track's surface, which by this time was so bumpy that it was extremely dangerous in the stiff ground effect cars of the era. Funds were not forthcoming for the maintenance required, and so F1 made a full-time switch to the Jacarepaguá circuit in Rio de Janeiro. The 80s were a lean period for Interlagos, with only national races to fill its time. But as F1's standards for venues grew more stringent and Jacarepaguá could no longer afford to host the Grand Prix, Interlagos jumped at the chance and underwent major renovations to bring the Grand Prix back to Sao Paulo by 1990. The layout of the track was heavily revised, incorporating segments of the old layout linked by new sections, and some corners reprofiled and moved. Formula One returned in 1990 with great fanfare, and though safety modifications have regularly been made to the track since, mainly in and around the pits and start-finish area, Interlagos has remained on the Grand Prix calendar to this day. Interlagos came to iRacing in early 2013 after much controversy when Brazilian Customs held the team's laser scanning equipment. Fortunately, the track was scanned and released, and it has made appearances on the V8 supercar racing schedules for much of the intervening time. But this is the first time that V8SCOPS will race at Interlagos, and we are employing the Super Sprint format, a 23-lap sprint and then a 29-lap feature with a compulsory pit stop. Join us, won't you? The Sao Paulo Super Sprint, the 14th and penultimate round of the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series.
iRacing is the most accurate online racing game and simulation available to the general public. The iRacing service allows you, the race fan, the real-world racer, the race enthusiast, the gamer, to race virtual replicas of real-world cars and at real-world, world-class racetracks. iRacing laser scans all of its content to millimeter accuracy, which gives you a digital replication of that car or track. Whether you want to race for online championships, race your buddies in a league, or test for an upcoming real-world race, iRacing has what those sim racers, gamers, race fans, and real-world racers are looking for. Unparalleled accuracy with loads of fun wheel-to-wheel excitement. Because of the solid community that iRacing has built, along with that attention to detail, iRacing has been able to form official partnerships with renowned motorsport organizations such as NASCAR, SRO, IMSA, V8 Supercars, and others to develop professionally sanctioned online racing series for our members to participate in. This is unique to iRacing.
When we started iRacing, we kind of fundamentally wanted to take a different approach with licensing and treat them more like partnerships. You know, for instance, NASCAR was one of our first big partners that we brought in, and it's a great way to market your product. There is a growing sense that the virtual space is a great way to interact with the fans of your real-life series. Simulation in itself is just becoming more and more popular in the real racing world, and it's natural to think that to be successful in the real world in these racing series, you're going to have to be up to speed with simulation at this point, because it's the only way that you can actually get any testing done.
One of the things that we've realized in partnering with iRacing is that it allows us to expose the sport to a much broader audience than we've ever had the ability to reach out to. Not many people have the opportunity to drive a race car. iRacing breaks down those barriers and lets you do that. So for us, we're able to expose racing in general and the sport of NASCAR to a much broader audience from that standpoint. It engages people in NASCAR in general, so they like iRacing. If they don't want to become a professional race car driver, they get a feel for what the sport's all about. They're more apt to either go to a race or watch on TV.
iRacing's ever-growing global online community is very appealing to IMSA and what we're trying to do and grow our product as well. Clearly, iRacing is a leader in sim racing and logical and attractive partner for us to be with. For sim racers who have not been exposed to IMSA before, this is a great way to entice them to come check our product out on television or attend our events in person.
At this point now, we're actually getting contacted by racing series and tracks and manufacturers, because they want to be involved in iRacing, because they see the value of having that sustained exposure to key demographics for them. Over the last few months, we've done partnerships with the SRO, who is the sanctioning body for the Blancpain GT series in Europe. IMSA, which is obviously the sports car series here in the US. They're two of the newest partners that have gotten on board with this idea that there is a way to kind of bring their brands into iRacing and create these virtual series that have real meaning to consumers of our product and fans of their series.
Next to the traditional ways of promoting the championship through TV, through media, through all forms of internet, we appreciate the growing importance of gaming. iRacing offered a very realistic platform where high-level players can get the nearest to the specificity of our type of racing.
Companies like NASCAR or Blancpain Series or IMSA don't just partner up with everybody. They see how authentic we are, how realistic the racing is, how much effort we put into making things real and fun and exciting for our members, and that's how we get to work with these companies. It helps us both engage our existing customers. It's more exciting to race when you're racing an actual NASCAR series versus just a stock car, and it also helps us reach new people, because new people, they follow these series in the real world and they want to get as close to them as they possibly can.
One of the things we love about iRacing and what they've created there is that it really emulates what we do in real life in NASCAR. You have to work your way up, you have to train, you have to become better at every single level in order to make it to the very top. iRacing was the perfect partner with the technology that they had to offer, really the best of anything that was out there, and they created the most authentic racing experience that anybody could find. Short of getting in an actual race car, you're not going to find anything close to real life than what you'll find in iRacing.
Welcome back, everyone, to V8's Online's live coverage of round 14 of the 2016 Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premier Series. You're watching the Sao Paulo Super Sprint, round 14 of the championship, the penultimate round. We're in the middle of qualifying for Split 1 at the moment. Hello to all of our viewers on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube, and on iRacing Live. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope that you are in for some fantastic racing tonight. Dylan Shepherd, Kane Kugamiya is currently on pole.
Yeah, Kane Kugamiya has really turned it on in this second half of the season, I think, or this back end of the season. You know, being good in the Enduros, driving with teammate Jared, and yeah, really turned it up in qualifying now too. It's really good to see.
Yeah, it definitely is. Of course, want to draw attention to the fact that a couple of the guys are running moustaches on the front of their cars in support of Movember, growing a moustache in November in support of men's health. Make sure to support it, a very good cause, and good to see that some of the guys in V8SCOPS are doing their bit for it. This qualifying format for Super Sprint, Shep, is quite interesting. There is incentive to complete more than one lap in qualifying as we follow Madison down as he's on a qualifying lap. We're going on board as well with Madison down, but there's two races, and the first race has its grid set by your fastest lap time in qualifying, obviously. But for the second race, the grid is set by your second fastest lap time. So there's definitely some pressure on the drivers to perform more than once in a qualifying session.
Yeah, that's right. We all know there's drivers out there that are really good one-lap heroes, but to pull out two really on-the-limit laps is another challenge. So we'll definitely see who the guys that always being able to pull out hot laps, see who they are, I think.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm just having a look at the lap times at the front, and it's ridiculous how close they are. We got Kugamiya on a 31.96, Richard Hampstead on a 32.025, Joshua Rogers on a 32.055, and Madison Down currently on a 32.097. That top four is absolutely inseparable as we see Madison Down coming down to Junkao.
Yeah, exactly. All the boys are close at the front top five, but also only 1 second separating from first to 15th. So, yeah, we're looking for a really good 2 races tonight, I think.
Yeah, we certainly are, and of course this is a return to the sprint race format, single driver races after Enduro season. Madison Down crosses the line and sets a 32.17, so I'm going to take a look at his lap times, and it seems like, that's not his second fastest lap time, it's his third fastest, so he's, with the checkered flag flying in the session, I think that may just be the grid set for race 1. Just quickly want to draw your attention as the session finishes up to a few guys that we haven't seen in a while. One of them being Joe Burkett in the number 23 Hyperstimulator TTV machine. Of course, Joshua Rogers' teammate, but was unable to compete in most of the Endurance Cup, if not all of it, as he pulls off the track. Currently starting in 21st position, but we've got a full field of 37 V8 supercars getting ready to go racing around Interlagos as we come up on 1:30 to go before the session ticks over. Everyone's pulling into the pits, and Kane Kugamiya must be incredibly happy with himself.
I'm going to second guess that, sorry Reese, because his best time might be putting him on pole, but his second best time's a 32.3, 4/10th deficit off his best time.
Oh dear.
And looking through the standings, there's a few drivers that have pulled it out. See, Richard Hampstead, 32.1 is his second best lap. That's a lot better than Kane Kugamiya's. Josh Rogers' second best lap, 32.20, so that's another spot loss for Kane. Madison Down has done 32.097 and 2.1s, so yeah, I think this second race will be very mixed up compared to this first grid, so yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, the second race is going to be the one with the pit stop as well, so good drivers will obviously be taking that into account too. But we're coming up on 30 seconds to go until we jump over to the race session. This is going to be a 23-lap race. And I'm certainly looking forward to it. Incredibly close times here up at the front, and Kane Kugamiya, well, eyes are going to be on him. Is he going to grab the win in race 1? I don't know. He's got some pretty solid competition in the top 4 behind him.
You're exactly right. Richard Hampstead, Joshua Rogers, Madison Down, and Jared Filsell. They're probably 4 of our best drivers in this series as well. So, yeah, Kane is... sorry, a bit of interference with Simon giving the drivers a briefing. But, yeah, so, yeah, the 4 drivers behind him, very good operators, and we know that. So, but you can't write off Kane. We know since he's been at ANZ, we've seen him improve so much in the last, I think, 12 months almost he's been with them. To take a pole tonight, it shows that he's got the pace, and now he just needs to prove that he can hold it in the race pace as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're in the race session now, and we're just waiting for drivers to jump onto the grid. Henry King, Bruce Keeley, Craig Jones, Michael Ford among the first to jump on. Ethan Grigg Galt as well. Haven't seen him in a while. In a single car 117. He's down in 15th place at the moment, which is a bit further back from where we usually see him battling for top 10 and even top 5 positions. But of course, we'll be waiting to see how the race turns out, because as we saw in Split 2, it can be there can be some interesting incidents that end up deciding the outcome of races at this track.
You're exactly right, and the weather is looking pretty similar to the Split 2 race, only a couple degrees difference, so I think we'll see the same cold tyres issue off the start, and we'll make a really good first lap, I think.
Certainly will. Looks like all of the drivers, if not just most of them, And now out there on the grid, Ken Kugamiya in the mustachioed ANZ Holden Commodore versus Richard Hampstead in the hyperstimulator team TTL Ford Falcon on the right-hand side of your screen. Revs are rising, lights up, and we've gone green here at Interlagos. The Sao Paulo Super Sprint. Rogers immediately jumping to the inside. Kane has got the outside line here for turn 1. Hampstead diving up the inside, and Rogers is going to try and follow him through. Kugamiya is stuck on the outside of turn 1, but he's got the inside for turn 2. They are double filed through turn 3. Rogers losing a bit of ground. Meanwhile, Madison Down and Jared Filsell right behind him. Just really jostling for position there. We've got a couple of guys there up in the back end of the grid, jostling for position. We're having Sam Sutton and Mitchell Sealak battling hard. Meanwhile, Jake Maloney getting past there by Jake Burton back in the lower reaches of the top 10. But, wow, Richard Hampstead, what an opening campaign from him.
Yeah, exactly right. He's just done what he needed to do on the start, got in the front. The outside line must not have worked as well for Kane. You know, it's a bit hard to get to the inside when the guy next to you gets a ripper of a start. Rogers close behind. Filsell and Madison side by side. They're still fighting for position.
Did you see that? Madison Down just got them some major traction there out of that hairpin and was able to take Jared round the outside on the exit. You don't see that often, but Filsell and Down still battling very hard here in the opening stages of the race. Jared Filsell just taking a wider entry to Juncal there, and now it's the start of lap 2, and Slipstream is going to really come into play here. Let's see what they can do.
Yep, Rogers in the slipstream of Kane Kugamiya. Filsell in the slipstream of Madison. I don't think he's looking for anything, but Rogers is up the inside of Kane. We'll see how it goes to turn 1.
Yep, Kane just yields to Rogers there. I think no sense in trying to defend too hard there through that corner, especially on the opening laps, but Downs managing to keep Filsell behind him. Meanwhile, Sam Sutton, who, wow, Sutton's driving a Ford. What's up with that? I've only just noticed. He usually drives a Holden. I'm not sure what the go is there, but nonetheless...
Still manages to have a TTL paint on, so lucky he's backed it up.
Yeah, goodness me. But Richard Hampstead currently out in the lead at the moment by a bit over a second. Rogers fast in tow, though.
Yeah, exactly right. Rogers P2, so we've got TTL 1, 2, and then that 8. Oh, about to
down on Kugamiya. Wow, what a pass.
What a move. Kugamiya couldn't even fire back at all. That was a perfect move from Madison.
And now he's going to go side by side with his teammate as Kane. What's going on here? Jared Filsell is going to go through on Kane Kugamiya.
And Sutton's going to follow him through. I think they might stay side by side. No.
Kugamiya falling down the field at the moment. Oh, Filsell, bit of a slide there. Now they come out of the final tight turn once again. So, meanwhile, let's take a look back down through the field. Seeing some good battling between Ross Rizzo and Luke Harvey for position 24 and 25. They're getting very close. Luke Harvey for ERA and Ross Rizzo for Performance Motorsports. Proforce Racing, sorry. That's my mistake.
There's contact between Luke and the Synergy car.
No!
Oh, there's more
than cars
one.
involved.
There's a lot of cars
Goodness
involved
me,
here.
the track's almost blocked.
Could this trigger a safety car?
This, I have no idea. Heath Brennan was caught up in that as well. Looks like, that's Corey Preston as well. Well, what can you say about Corey Preston's season? He's just been involved in the wars almost every time this season. So, we'll focus on Ethan Grigg Galt, but I'm just going to take a look back at that and see what happened. Looks like Corey Preston just got tagged by David Moore coming into turn 1, and then looks like Luke Harvey blindsided Moore, and the rest of the guys were just caught up in that, so that's a real shame. But focused on Ethan Grigg Galt at the moment. But Kugamiya and Sutton, meanwhile, a very good battle here. Kugamiya right on the back of Sam Sutton here. The 888 car. Mitchell Sealak right behind them. Jake Burton as well.
Yeah, Burton's looking pacey. He's come from 10th position up to 8th and still looking at the cars in front, so his race pace might be pretty good too.
Certainly is, and we've got a confirmation from the broadcast chat that TTL are only running Fords now as of this round. So, I mean, fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah, the boss has made a decision. Ford only.
While John Latham made a move there on Michael Healy. So, Healy falling back a bit.
Yeah, TTL cars looking racy, so it's good to see some of them move through the field.
While Brenton Hobson and Kurt Stenberg are fairly close as well. And Forzen El Nabi is caught up in that as well. Oh, El Nabi and Stenberg making contact there in turn 4, and Hobson is going to try and go up the inside of El Nabi here. Oh, a little bit more contact. This is the narrowest part of the track. You can't really go side by side too much through here. El Nabi trying to go up the inside of Hobson there. Hobson's going to have the outside line, a little bit more traction as the track changes elevation slightly less, but of course when you're stuck on the outside of that hairpin, what more can you do? El Nabi stays in front. Stenberg meanwhile battling there with Hobson, trying to get by. Hobson diving up the inside of El Nabi. Contact! El Nabi sliding, but
pushed him wide.
Hobson, the sportsman, slows up a bit.
Stenny will take a position off Hobson and look at El Nabi. Oh, he's going to go for a 2-car dive.
Goodness. Stenberg right up the inside of El Nabi to Junkao, and that's going to bring Wayne Burke in there as well. Burke side by side with Hobson. And Jason Dixon as well. Oh, cars on the grass. We've got cars everywhere here through the final turn here. Jason
almost
Dixon.
4 abreast into turn 1.
Oh, goodness me. Look at this racing. Jason Dixon now at the inside of Forzen El Nabi. Dixon making a very good case for himself here at the moment. Newest signing for TTL after his performances in the Endurance Cup. And he runs a bit wide and makes contact there. Oh, contact between Dixon and Hobson, but Dixon does the gentlemanly thing and slows up to sort of let Hobson regain some of that lost ground, but unfortunately that's positions lost for both of them. Oh, Sean Kelly goes through. Goodness me, I'm running out of voice, Shep. Oh, a little bit of a battle up front here. Sutton and Burton once again. Sam Sutton and Jake Burton, not much love lost between these guys. They're our usual split 2 commentators, and they're going almost went 3 wide through that hairpin. Goodness me. That's Jake Maloney there, battling with Lee Ellis in another Movember livery car. And Mitchell Sealack in front of them. There's cars everywhere. I can't keep track of this. This is incredible.
Yeah, a bit of contact between Ellis and Maloney into the corner there. They're still side by side coming down to these bottom 2 corners. Maloney on the inside. Looks like he'll take it. Ellis not giving up though.
Oh, Ellis going onto the runoff area to try and keep that ground. Ethan Greg Galt right at the inside of him. Oh, but briefly got a bit heart attack inducing there, Shep. But they're going to come through and start the next lap. It looks like Sutton's got a big slipstream here from Kane Kugamir. Kane's guarding the inside for turn 1 though. Can Sam try and take it around the outside? No, he can't.
Kugamir trying to minimise his losses. He had a pole position start and it just hasn't gone well from him. So it's going defensive to try and save as much positions as he can at the moment.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Hampstead out to a 1.1 second lead. Actually, no, he is not. Rogers is right behind him. Goodness me, that gap's closed up majorly. A 0.3 second gap here between the 2 TTL squad drivers. Obviously down, following close behind. Rogers versus Hampstead for the lead currently.
Yeah, Rogers looking pacey. He's caught up to his teammate. A bit of the gap that Hampstead gained.
Yep, I want to draw your attention though to the battle between Kugamir and Sutton though. Sutton went up the inside of Kane Kugamir at the first hairpin, focused on Sam Sutton here in this really long train of cars. That's Kugamir, that's Sutton, Burton, Sealack, that's Maloney, and then Ellis and Ethan Grigg Galt there behind them. Thanks for that, Shep. But Sutton gaining on Kugamir in the braking zones majorly. Kugamir's currently a cork in a bottle at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. He's gone defenseless, and the worst thing is, especially around a track like this, it's about momentum. So the moment a car is up the inside of you in one corner, they're all just going to be looking to gain that position back off you as well. So yeah, if he's trying to make sure he doesn't lose that first position to Sutton and have the rest of the train follow him through.
Yeah, Sutton not going for any major late braking moves here. But Focusing once again on the battle between Josh Rogers and Richard Hampstead. Rogers is going to have Hammer's slipstream coming into turn 4, but he's not going to try any moves, not this early in the race, and especially not in a senior member of the TTL team.
You're exactly right, but Rogers will be sitting there going, come on Hampstead, I've got Madison catching up to me. We need to get to the pace on, and he might look at a move on Hampstead soon to make sure Madison can't get back around Rogers, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens from here.
Certainly will, and remember that strategy doesn't come into play at all in this race. It's an out-and-out sprint to the end, no fuel restrictions, nothing like that. It's literally just hard racing from start to finish, and move up the inside, Rogers on Hampstead. Madison Down's going to be loving this. He's got a front row seat for this action, and he'll be thinking, yes, keep doing this, guys, please, thank you.
You're exactly right.
Meanwhile, Lee Ellis and Maloney having a battle here, Shep.
Yeah, another TTL and TTR battle through the field. They're everywhere. We see Mitchell Seelak and a bit sideways. Even Lee Ellis have a little bit of a wiggle on the exit of that last corner. He won't have a run on Maloney onto the main straight, though.
He will not, and Kane Kugamiya still at the front of that train. You see Sam Sutton just gaining on him there on the latter part of the start-finish straight. Sutton goes to the inside, has a bit of a look, but Kugamiya holding the outside. Oh, Sutton gaining a bit there through turn 3, though. On the curb. Now he's got the inside for turn 3, but Kugamiya has a little bit of a wider line. Sutton only just manages to get through there without turning Kugamiya around.
Yeah, Burton's going to push behind Sutton, say, come on, mate. Nope, he's going to slip behind Sutton. Steal down the move into turn 4. We pull it up. Burton having a look at Kugamiya as well.
Kugamiya's got a little bit of a run here.
It'll be interesting as how they get form up into this hairpin up here. He goes to the outside for a look.
Sutton guarding the inside there through Ferradura. But Kugamiya has to heal. Oh, is he going to dive up the inside though? He's going to try it. Sutton's going to stay a little bit wide, but of course we've got a nice slow hairpin through here as well.
Yeah,
where Sutton can get it back.
Bit of contact there from Kugamiya on Sutton. He's pushed him like, I'm still here, mate. And there's an angry train of cars behind me as Maloney goes for a move.
And Seelak has lost out massively from that. He's now side by side with Lee Ellis. Oh, goodness me. Ellis having to go side by side there with Seelak. And now Burton making a move on Kugamiya. Oh, just pushing him off track slightly. Onto the curb goes Kugamiya. But that's more positions lost for Kane. And now Sutton has been unleashed.
Yep, and even Maloney looks like he's already in front of Kugamiya as well. That's another position lost for Kugamiya.
Looking up the front, Madison Down's just taken second from Joshua Rogers. So that battling between Rogers and Hampstead did manage to get Down right up there. So Down currently in second and battling with Rogers.
Yeah, I'm still looking at this battle. Maloney and Kugamiya went side by side through this first sector. It looks like they're going to form single file, but this is still an angry train of cars back here.
Yeah, certainly is. As Seelak gains a little there on Maloney.
Also, Phil Cell knows that Madison, Josh and Richard are in a bit of a battle. He's pulled in a few tenths over the last few laps. The gap between Phil Cell and Richard's only 2.5 seconds, so probably about a 2-second gap between Phil Cell and Rogers on the last lap. So we might see Phil Cell come into play if these boys keep fighting up the front as well.
More fighting down through the field, guys. Oh, 3 wide coming into Ferradura. This is down for position 20 or thereabouts. Forzen El Nabi has been taken off the track by Craig Jones. Oh, and more contact here between Jones and Jason Hyde here. Performance Motorsports involved in quite a few incidents back here. Oh, no! Contact again! Jason Hyde turning around Craig Jones. Goodness me. Or was that Craig Jones? I'm not quite sure. But either way, some absolutely incredible fighting here at the moment. A little bit of contact being made, but we've got a huge train here at in the lower reaches of the field. Dale Niche involved in all of this, but amazingly still with a completely clean car.
Yeah, the 6 Boost guys have had a tough one tonight. They've been caught up in a few big battle packs, so...
Oh, and that's El Nabi into the pits. Oh, El Nabi spinning into the pits. Wow, that's one way to enter the pits for Zan. So El Nabi with major damage there. Got some major dents from his battling with those guys back there. But wow, so Jason Dixon would have been loving that. He's been able to pull a bit of a gap now on Craig Jones. But Jones now facing pressure from Nish and Keeley. Meanwhile, further back, we've got a three-wide battle here. Adam Hyland's been spun. Adam Hyland's
going to come back in front of the track.
Oh, goodness me.
How did they avoid each
How
other
did that
there?
not end up in a major crash? Hyland and Dodd coming together and nearly taking out, was that Moore?
Jordan Ross, I believe. Jordan Ross did an absolute great job to see what was going to happen there and just took a nice line and avoided it.
Wow, goodness me. That's there's been so much knife edge battling through here. I'm not
we
sure.
have a car slide, mate. Michael Ford not sliding into that top hairpin.
Yeah.
He pulls it up without contact, amazingly.
Meanwhile, Will Dodd in car 9 facing pressure from Ryan Shelton. Ryan currently in a Fusion Sim Racing sandwich. He's got Will Dodd in front of him, Heath Brennan behind him. Oh wait, that's Michael Ford.
Yeah,
Michael Ford, sorry. That was a bit of confusion from me because Ryan Shelton was in car 997 last. Oh goodness me. Oh, who was that? That's Henry King. V8 Sleuth Racing. Immediately into the pits for Henry. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm going to rewind that. That was he just got into the grass. Big battle for Lee Ellis and Ethan Grigg Galt.
And John Latham as well.
Oh, Ellis going to have the inside here. I'm on replay. Sorry, guys. Lee. Goodness me.
So Latham got around Maloney then.
Meanwhile, Jake Burton to P3. What? No? No. Sorry. That was some bad information. Still.
He's still behind Sam Sutton, so Burton's still carrying pace. Started 10th into P6. That's a 4-spot gain, so he'll be having a good race tonight and still looking behind Sam Sutton. You know, good mates here, they commentate together. So looks like Burton's going to go for an inside move to turn 1. It's late.
Yeah, very late, but Sutton sees him there and leaves him the room. However, Burton is going to try and hold it. Sutton's not giving him an inch. Not giving him an inch is Sam Sutton, and he's going to have the run there out of turn 3. And now Jake Burton, with that compromised run, is now facing pressure from Kei Gugamiya. Has a look, but Burton goes back up the inside at turn 4.
Yeah, there's a bit
battling here.
Bit of Carter in Burton's move there. You know, late dive, didn't show him his nose till the last second, but still side by side coming up the hill, Sutton and Burton.
Oh, goodness me. Burton slots in behind. Is he going to try
straight to the inside?
Straight to the inside through the double apex at Ferradura, outbraking Sutton there. And Sutton has no choice there but to yield to Jake Burton, but he's going to try and do some over-under crisscrossing here through this section of the track. Wow, bumper-to-bumper stuff here at Interlagos. Sutton trying to go up the inside. Goodness me, what fantastic racing we're seeing here today. Jake Burton managing to make his way up there. Of course, Sam Sutton is no slouch. He doesn't like being passed. He's going to try and get that back at all costs, I would have to say.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to turn 1 to see if anyone blinks here. They've all got the run on Jake, I think. The best run out of that last corner.
Oh, Sutton's probably going to do it. He's going to go to the inside. He's got the run. Not able to do a huge outbraking move, but Jake yields to him. And he's going to try and do the crisscross again as we see marbles flying everywhere. Wow. Goodness me, what amazing battling we're seeing here tonight.
Yeah, it's good when you see these top guys who do this week in, week out, show us what they're made of and put on really good battles for us. The top 3 still separated within a second of each other, Richard, Madison and Josh. They're not letting each other get out of each other's reach either.
Yeah, no way. Looking further back still, Craig Jones and Dale Niche for position 20 or thereabouts. They're still locked together. Dale Niche just trying to make up that ground. Bruce Keeley's fallen off from them a bit. Jordan Ross, meanwhile, behind them, facing a bit of pressure from his stablemate Todd Parks coming through Ferradura.
Todd Parks, very experienced driver at SSR. I'd say he'd be giving some tips to Ross, but Ross still has very good pace, so it'll be interesting to see what Todd does from here.
Rogers on down, meanwhile, into turn 1, we're seeing.
Looks like he's got the move done. Madison back on the inside into the second corner.
Yeah, but Rogers is going to have that little bit of extra tarmac there to work with. However, Down is going to have the slipstream here. He's going to pass him right back. Rogers tries to defend, but decides against it. Manages to outbrake him. Oh, Madison going up the inside at turn 4. They're going to go side by side through 5. Now coming up to Ferradura, who is going to blink first. Rogers almost going completely off the track. In fact, actually going completely off the track. And Down yields through Ferradura, but manages to gain some ground back through the middle of the corner. Slide from Rogers down up the inside here at the hairpin.
Rogers still has the inside for the next part. We'll see Madison make a move into the next hairpin here, we'll see.
Yeah, we certainly will. Down having
Rogers
to go
won't give
outside.
it to him.
Yeah, he definitely won't, but Down's going to have the crisscross here. This track is nothing but crisscrossing. I've just
exactly
realised.
right.
Goodness me. It's like, it's endless, man. But Madison's down.
You're right. If one driver goes up the inside, the person they've just passed will not give it up that easily there. Everyone's fighting for every position in these sprint races because there's no strategy involved. They're not saving tyres to preserve. They're just going at it 110% to try and get every position they can.
I've just got the biggest grin on my face because this is some fantastic racing we're seeing here tonight. Meanwhile, as Down continues to pressure Rogers through turn 1. Wow.
We've also seen a shuffle in the packs behind because we've got Sutton, Cougar, Burton, and CLX. So there's been a shuffle there in the previous laps while we were focused on the lead battle. Sutton turning it back up, Burton's still behind Cougar.
Yep, so they've reformed that sort of regular train. Meanwhile, behind them, Ethan Grigg-Gault has managed to pull a gap out on Lee Ellis, who himself is in front of John Latham and Jake Maloney. So things have settled down a little bit back there. Another battle I see forming. Yeah, actually, I was just about to mention that. Shep, you ninjaed me. But Stenberg just has a little bit of a run there on Burke through that section of the track. A little bit more mid-corner speed. But Burke's just making his car nice and wide through this section of the track. Stenberg not able to fire it up the inside under brakes. And of course, that curb, they can use all of that curb and then some, almost running completely off the track. But of course, iRacing allows it because that's a line that's used in real life. And Stenberg attempting to get a crisscross done here on Wayne Burke.
Yeah, Burke knows he needs to cover. Stenny, very experienced in these cars, but so is Burke. Both been around a long time in this game. So, see what happens from here.
Yep, or Stenberg though. Yep, mistake from Stenberg in the final turn. I keep calling it the final turn, but it's not actually the final turn. Meanwhile, Burton on Cougar in turn 1. Going to go up the inside. He's got that slipstream. He's managed to make it work under brakes as well. So now, Cougar is facing pressure from his ANZ stablemate Mitchell Cielak. Jake Burton has got something to prove. He's going to try and catch back up to Sam Sutton and repass him.
Hampstead's opened up to almost a 2-second lead over Rogers, battling with Madison down, and Phil Sell's just having a nice Sunday cruise here. He doesn't seem to have the pace to be up in front, guys, but just not falling back to the pack behind him either. So nice Sunday cruise for Phil Sell. Be looking at getting some points towards his championship.
Yeah, certainly. Meanwhile, Todd Parks involved in a bit of a fight here with Jason Hyde for position 24. Hyde up the inside of Parks. with a considerably more damaged car, and now Parks just absolutely fires it up the inside on exit. Major crisscross action here, but they're going to go too wide into Ferradura once again. Hyde has the inside, but Parks seems to have that sort of mid-corner speed to just stay with him. They go too wide into the hairpin. They're still side by side
here, these
Goodness
guys.
me, this
all
track.
All throughout the pack, we've just seen side by side, door-to-door racing, and no one's giving an inch to anyone.
This track, man, this track, it just turns it up every single time. Like, you see it in Formula 1 in real life. Interlagos always throws up a really exciting race, and it's no different in V8 supercars. Just an incredible track that lends itself well to some fantastic racing. And one of our director's favourites, we've just been told, as we see now Parks in the slipstream of Jason Hyde. But, of course, Ryan Shelton behind them. And that yellow Performance Motorsports Falcon. Parks is going to fire it up the inside at turn 1. Oh, Hyde just tries to cover him a little in the braking zone. Little fire up towards the inside in turn 1. But now Parks is going to have the run out of turn 3. Hyde is going to have to yield.
Yeah, good move from Parks. He held his own and got the move done. Also, I think Burton's closed up back behind Sutton, and Kane's again still at the back of Burton. So these guys are they're still going at it. They might be on a battle coming up the main straight here.
We've got a 2.2 second gap between Rogers and Hampstead up the front meanwhile.
Just starting lap 18 of this 23 lap race. So we're coming into the final stages, about 5-6 laps to go. So everyone will start putting on the deeper moves later on the brakes from here on out.
Yeah, they certainly will. Looking back at battle with Stenberg. Now battling still with Wayne Burke. These guys are really turning it up here at the moment. Stenberg fighting his car through turn 3 as they come down the back straight, past the pit exit. Oh, and we're seeing a car stopped on the back straight. Who's that? That's Mitchell Ciolak. That's Ciolak. He was running really well. What happened to him? We're going to try and go back.
Looks to me, yeah, he's just come out of the corner and
just lost it.
Unfortunate for Ciolak, he was up there running in the top 10, 8th position by teammate Kane Kigamiya, and unfortunately just a bit of tyre wear as well. They haven't been able to pit for tyres, so we might start seeing more of that as well as the tyres wear down and the driver's still pushing it 110%.
Yeah, Ciolak unfortunately just got into a bit of a slow motion tank slapper out of turn 3 and was not able to save it. It's a real shame for him. He was running extremely well. But, of course, there's no great loss if his second fastest lap time was good enough. Because it means he will still be able to start race 2 in that position nonetheless. So, the battles have kind of calmed down a little bit. We're seeing cars more and more spaced out as time goes on. However, I see one battle forming, if we can take a look at it for position 29. Adam Hyland, Ross Rizzo, and Scott Cisłowski here. So 3 different racing organizations, actually 2 I believe. I think it's Proforce Racing and All Star Motorsports here. We're focused on Scott Cisłowski following these 2 teammates battling here, Hyland and Rizzo.
Good to see Rizzo up in top split. He's a very good driver and winner of the Radical Challenge hosted by Race Center. Was able to have a driver Radical from winning one of their championships, so he knows what he's doing behind the wheel. Made his way into top split and putting on good racing tonight as well.
Yeah, certainly is. These 2 guys just biding their time, it seems. Or as we see Highland go wide in turn 4 and turn 5 as well, that's going to allow Rizzo to maybe get a run. I don't know. He seems to be lacking a bit of straight line speed, is Rizzo, just not able to get that power down as he would like to. Oh, slide there from Highland. And Highland just goes right off the track. Fortunately, it's a tarmac runoff there, so his only loss is position.
Yeah, he only lost to Sizlowski and Ross Rizzo, so battle's still hard, even though they're down for some minor positions, but they'll be racing for every point because they're all trying to achieve their own targets in the championship.
Yeah, certainly. In this field of V8 Scops, there's always someone to race with. The field is insanely competitive. Of course, for these guys to get into top split is an achievement in and of itself, so it's great to see them all out there.
Yeah, exactly right. We still have Sam Sutton and Burton close together. Burton still closing up on Sutton. 3 laps to go. Will we see a move?
Oh, I don't know. Jake Burton is he's a very spirited racer, is Jake, and of course he's a karter in real life. Currently the KA3 super heavy Western Australian state karting champion, actually. So he knows how to battle for position.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As someone who competed in stage series over the East, I know that it's not an easy competition to win. So Burton knows how to get the racecraft. As long as he has decent pace, he will be racing hard and can pull off some of the deeper moves that some of the guys who just do sim racing might not be able to pull off. But also, experience behind the sim seats, such as Sam Sutton, is just as useful.
It certainly is, and they just close up here into turn 1. Burton takes a little more curb than Sutton does, but is not able to gain all that much. Seems Sutton's just a little smoother on the throttle. Is just able to get a little bit better of a run, actually just enough to keep Jake ahead of him, but we see Burton closing up there on Sutton. Looks like Jake's biding his time here. We might see a last lap move, but I somehow doubt that he'll go too hard just a couple of laps from the end. Or will he?
Yeah,
because
almost looking for a move there.
Look at this. Jake Burton gaining on Sam Sutton, and he's going to go for it. I wonder if Jake's listening to the broadcast, like, hey guys, oh no,
there's contact. Door to door.
And it's going to allow Kugamiya in there. Kugamiya has to, wow, Kugamiya just had his nose almost chopped off there by Burton, but yeah, going to finish that thought. I was wondering if Jake Burton can actually hear us on the broadcast and thinks, well guys, you think I won't be doing that? Well, here you go.
So there's front wheel arch damage on the right hand front of Sutton, and there's also left hand door damage from Burton, so that might play up in these last 2 laps. Will that affect the pace of either of these 2 guys? We'll find out.
Certainly will. Kugamiya's dropped off majorly though. I'm wondering what his issue is.
Yeah, you never know with these guys. It could be something on their end with all these computers and devices that we run. It could be something as simple as that, or it might be tyres going off, or yeah, we don't know.
Got a few Kurt Stenberg on Wayne Burke, sorry, coming down the front stretch. Oh, Stenberg just gaining on Burke here. Oh, almost nose to tail. Coming into turn 1, Stenberg fighting the car over the turn 1 curb.
Wayne Burke has been moved up 7 positions from his starting position, from 20th to 13th. Good race pace and standing from 17th to 14th. So they'll fight hard for these last 2 laps.
Yeah, Wayne Burke, a very experienced campaigner in the V8, and a name that I actually haven't seen out there for some time. So good to see him out there. Good to see he's still got it.
Yeah, I've raced Burkey in real life in karts as well, so I know he's a very good operator as well. He's down in Victoria. They race hard down there, so. But we also know Stenny's a very spirited V8 driver. He loves this car and he loves the series, so he'll be trying to put on a fight for us as well.
Yeah, certainly will. As Stenny just gains there on Burke. Meanwhile, Jason Dixon, of course, want to reiterate, he's Mr. Dixon in number 74, is now a full-time TTL driver after subbing in with them for the Endurance Cup. Congratulations to Jason.
Yeah, TTL is very, very well-known team in this series. They produce some really good drivers. You know, they're 1-2 right now, so you can't say the team isn't a bad team. They'll get any of their drivers up to the front. We've got Joe Burkett in front of Dixon. He's also signing for this season with the TTV guys. Yeah, pretty big team. They've started expanding their operation this year by the sound of it, but all of them are still very experienced, and yeah, they all know what they're doing.
Meanwhile, focused on Madison Down, fallen off from Rogers a bit, who himself is catching up to Hampstead. 1.2 second gap between second and third at the moment. So the top three's kind of spaced out at the moment. Really, the only close battle on track I can see is the one between Stenberg and Burke.
Well, we've actually been so caught up in the battles that Hampstead's crossing the line to finish the race.
Oh, goodness me. Wow, yeah, it is the last lap. Goodness me. Well, what can you say? Fantastic racing here, but a consummate drive from Richard Hampstead, who has led every lap of this 23-lap race. Richard Hampstead, in car number 28 for Hyperstimulated TTL, is going to take the victory. Joshua Rogers in second, Madison Down in third. Jared Philsell's going to cross the line in fourth, and it looks like Jake Burton was not able to catch back up to Sam Sutton.
So Sam Sutton will run into the top 5 with his good mate Burton behind him. Kane Kugamiya, our pole sitter, dropped down to 7th. He won't be too happy with that, showing really good qualifying pace. Ethan Griggold from 15th to 8th, another good drive. Lee Ellis started 9th, finished 9th, so no gain or loss, so you can't complain about that.
And Stenny was not able to get by Burke in the end, so Brenton Hobson was able to close up to them though, as did Sean Kelly. For midfield positions. Cars coming across the line now. Todd Parks, David Moore going through there. Ryan Shelton as well coming through in position 23. Oh, goodness me. I think most of my energy for tonight is spent, Shep.
Yeah, and we still have the longest of them all, and probably going to be just as exciting. We're going to have to call some pit stops and strategy in the next race, so it's going to be very interesting.
It certainly is. Well, we do have a few retirements, though, in this race. Michael Ford, Mitchell Sealack, Jordan Ross, Heath Brennan, Corey Preston, Henry King, and Forzan El Nabi. Unfortunate for those guys. Getting caught up in some would say unnecessary incidents, but nonetheless it was incredibly exciting for the spectators. Absolutely brilliant racing here at Interlagos for the first split run race of the Sao Paulo Super Sprint. So I think now would be a fantastic time to run through your official results as Richard Hampstead goes absolutely crazy on the rear tyres celebrating his victory. So that's Richard Hampstead in first place, Joshua Rogers in second. Third was Madison Down. Fourth, Jared Philsell. Sam Sutton finishing in fifth place. Meanwhile, Jake Burton crossed the line in sixth. Kane Kugamiya in seventh. Then Greg Galt, Lee Ellis, and Maloney rounding out your top 10. John Latham. Oh, sorry, go on, Shep.
Oh, I was going to take on because I know you're running a bit out of breath, so I'll run out the next few if you'd like. So yeah, John Latham in P11, followed by TTR's Michael Healy, Synergy's Wayne Burke, our favourite Fusion Sim Racing, Kurt Stenberg in 14th, Brenton Hobson rounding out the top 15, and then Sean Kelly 16th, Joe Burke at 17th, followed by his teammate Dixon in 18th, Craig Jones 19th, Bruce Keeley 20th, Todd Parks 21st, followed by another Synergy driver, David Moore in 21st. Ryan Shelton, oh sorry, I've gotten confused here. David Moore 22nd, Ryan Shelton 23rd, Dale Niche 24th, Luke Harvey 25th, Jason Hyde, Ross Rizzo, Scott Zizlowski 26, 27, 28, Adam Highland 29, and Will Dodd, the last finisher on the lead lap in P30.
Yep, and as I was saying before, our retirements, Michael Ford, Mitchell Sealack, Jordan Ross, Heath Brennan, Corey Preston, Henry King, and Forzan El Nabi. So, that is race one complete. And, wow, if this race was anything to go by, I'm really looking forward to race two now, Shep.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. We're going to have some calls on the strategy. We've got pit stops. We've got a longer race, so we're going to see it all in this one, I think.
Yeah, certainly will. Well, while we're waiting for that server to go up and get ready to go racing once again here at Interlagos, we're going to go on a very quick break. So once again, you're watching the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premier Series on V8's Online, the best race here. We'll see you in a bit.
A few years ago, members of the iRacing V8 Supercar community came together to articulate an idea. Then, on August 10, 2014, the V8 Supercars Online Premier Series had its first race day at Circuit of the Americas, and Madison Down claimed the victory.
Madison Down, the winner. Phil Sells second. Hampstead third. Your podium. And Sean Kelly not far off at N4. For what a result. What a race.
This first test season, however, would go to TTL's Richard Hampstead. 2015 was a defining year in V8SCOPS, the first year-long championship in iRacing V8 Supercar history. The season was filled with many highs and lows. Few drivers were triumphant. Most faced heartbreak. Young gun Jared Filsell was crowned our champion. But in 2016, it's a new championship and a new opportunity for our passionate sim racers. Who will be champion?
Brazil, a country with a rich history and sporting culture, and one of the greatest contributors to motorsport legend. Fitting then that its premier circuit in Sao Paulo is considered one of the world's greatest challenges. This weekend, we race at the Autodromo José Carlos Paz, otherwise known as Interlagos. This circuit is a throwback to ages past, while still remaining a great example of the modern racetrack. Its facilities may not be as clinical as other F1 venues, but out on the tarmac, this track is a treat. Its lap length is short for an F1 circuit at only 4.3 kilometers, but one gets a lot of racetrack crammed in there. Fast but twisty, with dips and rises at almost every one of its 15 corners, and with its fair share of heavy braking zones, Interlagos is a circuit for both the driver and the racer. The story of Interlagos begins in the 1920s. The world was in the middle of an economic boom, and a real estate company led by Luis Romero Sanson began planning a large expansion to Sao Paulo's metro area. Housing and a large sporting complex, including a motor racing circuit, were slated to be built between the two reservoirs that supplied the city with drinking water. It was from these reservoirs that the site got its name. The French urban planner Alfred Agache was working on the project, and the site reminded him of the town of Interlaken in Switzerland. The name literally means between lakes, so the site in Brazil became known as Interlagos in reference to the Swiss town. Unfortunately, the 1929 stock market crash and Brazil's political climate meant that the plans came to nothing. In the following years, motor racing was held in Rio and Sao Paulo on dangerous public road circuits that resulted in many injuries and fatalities. The president of Brazil's automobile club urged Sanson to finish the Interlagos circuit in response, so that racing could continue in a safe environment. Sanson designed the original layout of Interlagos, taking inspiration from Roosevelt Field Raceway in the USA, Brooklands in England, and Montlhéry in France. The track's original layout was a nearly 8-kilometre maze of hairpins and sweepers. Much of this layout is actually still there today, used as parking and access roads. Ground was broken in 1938, and the track was eventually inaugurated in 1940. A lack of funding meant that initially there were no pit facilities or grandstands. As the decades went on though, Interlagos gained stature, hosting many events up to international level. It was such that by the 1970s it had been selected for inclusion in the Formula One World Championship. The first official Brazilian Grand Prix was held in 1973 to great reception, but by the end of the decade, drivers were becoming concerned at the deterioration of the track's surface, which by this time was so bumpy that it was extremely dangerous in the stiff ground effect cars of the era. Funds were not forthcoming for the maintenance required, and so F1 made a full-time switch to the Jacarepaguá circuit in Rio de Janeiro. The 80s were a lean period for Interlagos, with only national races to fill its time. But as F1's standards for venues grew more stringent and Jacarepaguá could no longer afford to host the Grand Prix, Interlagos jumped at the chance and underwent major renovations to bring the Grand Prix back to Sao Paulo by 1990. The layout of the track was heavily revised, incorporating segments of the old layout linked by new sections, and some corners reprofiled and moved. Formula One returned in 1990 with great fanfare, and though safety modifications have regularly been made to the track since, mainly in and around the pits and start-finish area, Interlagos has remained on the Grand Prix calendar to this day. Interlagos came to iRacing in early 2013 after much controversy when Brazilian Customs held the team's laser scanning equipment. Fortunately, the track was scanned and released, and it has made appearances on the V8 Supercar racing schedules for much of the intervening time. But this is the first time that V8SCOPS will race at Interlagos, and we are employing the Super Sprint format, a 23-lap sprint and then a 29-lap feature with a compulsory pit stop. Join us, won't you? The Sao Paulo Super Sprint, the 14th and penultimate round of the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series.
iRacing is the most accurate online racing game and simulation available to the general public. The iRacing service allows you, the race fan, the real-world racer, the race enthusiast, the gamer, to race virtual replicas of real-world cars and at real-world, world-class racetracks. iRacing laser scans all of its content to millimeter accuracy, which gives you a digital replication of that car or track. Whether you want to race for online championships, race your buddies in a league, or test for an upcoming real-world race, iRacing has what those sim racers, gamers, race fans, and real-world racers are looking for. Unparalleled accuracy with loads of fun, wheel-to-wheel excitement. Because of the solid community that iRacing has built, along with that attention to detail, iRacing has been able to form official partnerships with renowned motorsport organizations such as NASCAR, SRO, IMSA, V8 Supercars, and others to develop professionally sanctioned online racing series for our members to participate in. This is unique to iRacing.
When we started iRacing, we kind of fundamentally wanted to take a different approach with licensing and treat them more like partnerships. You know, for instance, NASCAR was one of our first big partners that we brought in, and it's a great way to market your product. There is a growing sense that the virtual space is a great way to interact with the fans of your real-life series. Simulation in itself is just becoming more and more popular in the real racing world, and it's natural to think that to be successful in the real world in these racing series, you're going to have to be up to speed with simulation at this point, because it's the only way that you can actually get any testing done.
One of the things that we've realized in partnering with iRacing is that it allows us to expose the sport to a much broader audience than we've ever had the ability to reach reach out to. Not many people have the opportunity to drive a race car. iRacing breaks down those barriers and lets you do that. So for us, we're able to expose racing in general and the sport of NASCAR to a much broader audience from that standpoint. It engages people in NASCAR in general. So they like iRacing. If they don't want to become a professional race car driver, they get a feel for what the sport's all about. They're more apt to either go to a race or watch on TV.
iRacing's ever-growing global online community is very appealing to IMSA and what we're trying to do and grow our product as well. Clearly, iRacing is a leader in sim racing and logical and attractive partner for us to be with. For sim racers who have not been exposed to IMSA before, this is a great way to entice them to come check our product out on television or attend our events in person.
At this point now, we're actually getting contacted by racing series and tracks and manufacturers because they want to be involved in iRacing, because they see the value of having that sustained exposure to key demographics for them. Over the last few months, we've done partnerships with the SRO, who is the sanctioning body for the Blancpain GT series in Europe. IMSA, which is obviously the sports car series here in the US. They're two of the newest partners that have gotten on board with this idea that there is a way to kind of bring their brands into iRacing and create these virtual series that have real meaning to consumers of our product and fans of their series.
Next to the traditional ways of promoting the championship through TV, through media, through all forms of internet, we appreciate the growing importance of gaming. iRacing offered a very realistic platform where high-level players can get the nearest to the specificity of our type of racing.
Companies like NASCAR or Blancpain Series or IMSA don't just partner up with everybody. They see how authentic we are, how realistic the racing is, how much effort we put into making things real and fun and exciting for our members, and that's how we get to work with these companies. It helps us both engage our existing customers. It's more exciting to race when you're racing an actual NASCAR series versus just a stock car, and it also helps us reach new people, because new people, they follow these series in the real world and they want to get as close to them as they possibly can.
One of the things we love about iRacing and what they've created there is that it really emulates what we do in real life in NASCAR. You have to work your way up, you have to train, you have to become better at every single level in order to make it to the very top. iRacing was the perfect partner with the technology that they had to offer, really the best of anything that was out there, and they created the most authentic racing experience that anybody could find. Short of getting in an actual race car, you're not going to find anything closer to real life than what you'll find in iRacing.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
A few years ago, members of the iRacing V8 Supercar community came together to articulate an idea. Then, on August 10, 2014, the V8 Supercars Online Premier Series had its first race day at Circuit of the Americas, and Madison Down claimed the victory.
Madison Down, the winner. Phil Sells second. Hampstead third. Your podium. And Sean Kelly not far off it in fourth. For what a result. What a race.
This first test season, however, would go to TTL's Richard Hampstead. 2015 was a defining year in V8SCOPS, the first year-long championship in iRacing V8 Supercar history. The season was filled with many highs and lows. Few drivers were triumphant. Most faced heartbreak. Young gun Jared Filsell was crowned our champion. But in 2016, it's a new championship and a new opportunity for our passionate sim racers. Who will be champion?
Welcome back, one and all, to V8's Online's live broadcast of the 2016 Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premier Series. Once again, you are watching round 14 of the 2016 championship, the Sao Paulo Super Sprint, here at Interlagos in the biggest city in Brazil. We've got one of the biggest fields in Australian sim racing here, ready to do battle in the 29-lap feature race here with a compulsory pit stop and a 65% fuel tank restriction. I'm Reece Gardner. Joining me for the coverage of this last race of the night is Dylan Shepherd. Dylan, welcome once again, and after race one, wow, I'm really hyped for this one.
Yeah, that's it. We've had an awesome two races so far from the Dev guys and from these top split guys in race one. They definitely turned it on for us. But it's about to get a lot more interesting in race two. We still don't know what the grid's going to be because it's all about what their second best time in the qualifying session was. So we're still let to see what the grid will be, and then we still have strategy to play out during the race with a pit stop and a 65-litre tank limit, as you said.
Yes, certainly. Well, it looks like the grid has been set, and it looks like Madison Down is your pole man here. He ran the fastest, second fastest lap time, if that makes sense. Richard Hampstead in second place, Josh Rogers third, fourth Kane Kugamiya, Jared Filsell starting in fifth place, Sam Sutton in sixth, Jake Maloney seventh, Mitchell Sealack eighth, Jake Burton starting in ninth, and Lee Ellis is going to round out your top 10. Running quickly through the rest of the field, we've got Brenton Hobson, John Latham, Ethan Greg Galt, Michael Healy, Sean Kelly, Kurt Stenberg, David Moore, Wayne Burke in 18th place, Joe Burkett in 19th, Jason Dixon rounding out the top 20, followed by Jordan Ross, then Heath Brennan, Todd Parks, Ross Rizzo, Michael Ford, Craig Jones, Luke Harvey, Jason Hyde, Will Dodd, Ryan Shelton, Bruce Keeley, Scott Seslowski, Henry King, and Adam Hyland rounding out your 34-car field for this second race here at Interlagos. We've got just under a minute to go until the revs rise and we are ready to go racing. So, Madison Down from pole. He finished in third, I believe, in the last race. Oh, we've gone green already. Goodness me, I didn't even notice. So away we go once again. Madison Down, straight to the inside. And Josh Rogers. Oh, Josh Rogers turned around by Richard Hampstead almost. Major slide through turn one. That's advantage down out of turn three.
Madison Down, he's done the Hampstead. He's got his legs out. He's built up a lead, so we got Rogers to Kugamiya. Kugamiya will be looking for retribution after his bad run in race one, but is looking for the inside of Rogers. Don't think he'll get it. But yes, 2 wide all the way down. Hampstead on the back of Kugamiya.
Rogers missed the exit of 4 there. But Madison down, streaking away in the lead at the moment, and Kane Kugamiya right on the back here of Josh Rogers coming through Ferradura, and oh goodness me, I'm seeing Jared Filsell in the background there. Under pressure now from Sam Sutton as Jake Burton tries to make a move on Mitchell Cialak in the background. Oh, Jared Filsell sliding through the hairpin. Sutton trying to go for the undercut here, but he can't. These guys are on majorly cold tyres.
Cialak
firing it up the inside of Sutton. Look at that, what a move! I wonder how much of that was premeditated.
Sam Sutton would not have expected that from Cialak. He's going to look up the inside of... Oh, Cialak, he's going to make the move.
Oh, yep. Cialak wide out of Junkao.
Man, these boys need their mirrors tonight because there's cars flying left, right, and centre up the inside.
Oh, wow. And what a major train of cars we're seeing already. Ethan Grigault with major damage, though, I'm seeing. That's a real shame to see. He's going to peel straight into pit lane. I'm not sure what happened there, but, well, from a 14th place start...
Cialak off. Cialak off into turn 1. He's come together with Sutton. He's going to lose a lot of positions there. Yeah, bit of contact into turn 1, and that's cost him a lot.
Yep, so Wayne Burke is now coming up to the back of Cialak. I just want to apologise for almost missing the start there. I couldn't hear the engine revs rising. That's been a problem for me the last few rounds. Hopefully I get it sorted. But we've got a fantastic race here nonetheless. Richard Hampstead getting followed by the 2 ANZ guys. Looks like
2 ANZ guys, Filsell and Kugamiya side by side up into the hairpin.
Yeah, Kane lets Jared by there. We're focused on them at the moment, and just behind them we see basically a repeat of the train that we saw in race 1, except Jake Burton is now leading that train, and Sam Sutton is looking to get by him.
And Sam Sutton with a bit of damage to the front left quarter panel this time. That's 2 quarter panels for the TTL team to replace. Hopefully it doesn't affect his pace too much because he's having a great run tonight, and yeah, we still want to see him up there giving the fight to Burton.
Yeah, certainly. This is where the draft is going to come in once again. Remember, this isn't an out-and-out sprint like the last race was. They are going to have to make a pit stop, so the guys are going to have to be a little more careful with their car preservation. So Sutton has the slipstream here from Jake, but will he try and go for the move up the inside at turn 1? Yes, he will. Creeping up the inside, Burton lets him through. He slots right in behind Jake, Jake Maloney.
Oh, I just don't know where to look. There's just so much action going on.
Yeah, absolutely
Madison
fantastic.
Down, lost 4 tenths to Rogers on that previous lap. Rogers might be bringing a fight to Madison in this race.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, meanwhile, Filsell is right back behind Hampstead. He didn't get to see this in the last race. He just wasn't with the guys, but he hears this race that we might see something else from Filsell.
Yeah, definitely will. And this train is continuing to chug along with Jake Burton at the head. Sam Sutton, at the head.
Maloney looking at the back of Burton, maybe. It looks like he wants to start getting through as well.
Yeah, currently Jake Burton in a TTL sandwich. They're followed very, very closely by, it seems, Brenton Hobson there from Synergy Sim Racing, car number 25 there. Eaton-sponsored Holden Commodore. They're coming to Junkao once again. This is only lap 3 out of 29, and already these guys are going at it. As I'm seeing a car spinning in the background, is that Ellis? Ellis had a half spin. And he's had to get going, and so many positions lost for Lee Ellis. Cars are just going by him.
Yep, just got on the throttle that bit too aggressive, and the tyres just didn't cope, and yeah, unfortunately he's lost a bit of positions there as well.
Yep, and he's peeling straight into the pits there, thinking, I've already lost enough positions, I'm just going to take my mandatory pit stop now.
Well, that's it. With the fuel tank limit, will we see him going in the pits again, or is he
That's the thing. I don't know. That's very... Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. We'll find out later on in the race, won't we?
Yeah, that's it. They would have taken on their fuel numbers from the race before to make sure they can get an accurate number to meet in this race. So I'm sure he would have had a good reason to come in the pits then. As we see, Phil Sell up the inside of Hampstead up the top hairpin.
Yep, taking all of that curb. Hampstead maintaining the inside line for the next corner, though. Can Phil Sell jump on the throttle a little bit harder? He can, and he's going to have the inside line for the next hairpin. But Richard Hampstead, of course, is an experienced racer. He knows that he can get a bit of an over-under here, but this time he chooses not to.
We might be seeing a bit of tyre conservation as well, because it's a bit of a longer race, and the longer they get their tyres out, the better their second set of tyres will be in the second stint of the race. So we might be seeing that from Hampstead. He doesn't seem to be as aggressive as the last race.
Yeah, certainly. Phil Sell, meanwhile, absolutely pounding it out there. Whereas we saw a bit more of a conservative drive from him in race 1, which ended up working out for him in the end.
Yeah, but he took it down comfortable position for his championship points. Sam Sutton starting to get a bit of a gap on Burton. Maloney, a couple car lengths behind Burton as well, but still followed closely by Brendan Hobson, John Latham and Mitchell Searlack.
Yep. I'm looking further back in the field, trying to anyway. Looks like there aren't many other very close battles going on, but we're focused on Mitchell Searlack at the moment.
The ANZ Simworks following the back of this train. He's a bit further down than what he was in race 1. He'll be looking to get a few positions up. He knows he has the race pace.
I'm seeing a battle forming in the lower reaches of the top 20 here. For position 16, Luke Harvey, Michael Ford, and Craig Jones currently very close together.
Well, coming at the end of lap 5, and Rogers has got around Madison somewhere during that lap. I don't know where. We'll have a look back to see whereabouts he got him. Coming up the hill into the right kink and hairpin, Rogers just held his line, and Madison, you had to give the position to Rogers to avoid any early incidents.
Yeah, but Madison is going to try and go back up the inside of Rogers. This is 2x2 racing here for the lead of this race. Madison has to yield to Rogers, though.
These boys want to be careful. Yeah, these boys want to be careful because Phil Sell's only 2 seconds behind, and the more they battle, the easier it is going to be for him to catch up because he's got pace. Hampstead behind him's got pace, and we do know that Kane Kugamiya taking pole in race 1, he has the pace as well.
Yeah, he certainly does. It looks like Phil Sell is going to be loving this battle between the top two because it's allowed him to sort of creep up ever closer. I don't know, Shep. With pit stops coming into play, we might see a four-way battle for the lead of this race.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We're in store for a big finish here.
Well, no crazy moves going on so far. As I say that, Madison down, closing up majorly on Rogers. But, yeah, up the front, it looks like things are settled down slightly.
Yeah, you can tell that it's a bit of a longer race with a bit of strategy because the guys all throughout the field aren't just showing us the aggressiveness of race 1, and that just might be because they know that anytime they lose now, they might be able to gain back in the pits and fight back at the end, and there's not much point wasting time in battles in this race because, yeah, it's a longer race and there's,
Yeah, certainly. Looking further back, meanwhile, position 22 and 23, Adam Hyland and Scott Cisłowski. These guys were battling pretty hard in race 1, and they've come together in race 2 as well. Getting very, very close there. That Pro Force Racing number 557 and the All-Star Motorsports number 669.
Yeah, we see Lee Ellis behind them as well in position 24. I think he had a bit of an incident earlier on with Ethan Grigalt, so keep an eye on him. We saw Lee pull in the pits, I believe. So, yeah, watch for him because he's only back down in the 24th with a pit stop, so he'll be looking to make some ground up as well.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, he knows he has the pace to be up with them top 10 boys.
Yeah, question is he going to have enough fuel? Which, as we touched on before, it's just a waiting game to see what Ellis ends up doing. I mean, he didn't have any damage when he pulled into the pits, so there was nothing to fix on that front. Oh, as we see a car spun, that's Cisłowski. Cisłowski spun out of turn 5. That's a shame for him. So that's a few more positions lost for Scott.
Yeah, did it by himself, trying to chase down Adam Highland and just made a simple little mistake. That's the thing with these V8 supercars, they don't have traction control. You can't get on the throttle very aggressive, otherwise that's exactly what you're going to see, and it happens to everyone. You'll see all the guys do it.
Yep. As we've been focusing on that, looks like Jake Burton's gone back past Sam Sutton there. He's currently heading up that train once again, and Sutton seems to have backed off slightly.
Yeah, it was Kane Kugamiya on P5, so he seems to be chasing down Hampstead and Fuel Cell as well. He's not dropping off the pace either.
Yeah, meanwhile, behind them, Brenton Hobson and John Latham pretty close together as well. Coming into turn 4. Oh, Latham just gets a little bit of an edge on Hobson through there. Very, very close here through this part of the circuit. Ferradura, looks like Hobson's just missing a little bit of that mid-corner and exit. That's where Latham's almost getting him. Of course, Latham is a majority setup builder for TTL, so he knows his way around this car.
Yeah, John Latham, he's been around this for a while. He's one of the guys out there that he knows the setup well, and he's also one of the guys that will offer you help as well for some of the newcomers. So, and one of the guys that is an all-round top bloke and racing hard as well behind Brenton. So, yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah, very good stuff. They're facing a little bit of opposition from Sealack and Burke behind them too. I'm seeing a chain of 3 cars even further behind. Moore, Dixon and Stenberg battling quite hard here for positions 13, 14 and 15.
Yeah, you're right. So David Moore leading that pack in the CSR Fabrications Synergy Sim Racing Falcon. And Dixon closely following in his new TTL Falcon. He'd be happy to be driving.
Yeah, most definitely, as Stenberg is keeping them honest there. Just keeping on the back of this chain.
So Jason Dixon, he started P20th and he's down in the 14th. So he's made up 6 positions from the start. So he's racing hard.
Yeah, he definitely is. Dixon having a damn sight better race than he did in race 1, which is good to see. Still with a little bit of damage on that car though, so he hasn't made it through completely unscathed.
Seeing a bit further up the front, we have Phil Sell closely followed by Hampstead, but Kane Kugamiya, he's really starting to gain on these Hampstead and Phil Sell, I believe.
Oh, he is too. Let's have a look at lap times. 32.2 and 32.3 for Hampstead, 32.4 for Kugamiya. So yeah, Kane's not dropping off very much at all.
Yeah, and I think if Hampstead starts to put on a fight with Phil Sell, then Kane will be right on the back of him. So Hampstead, he's right on Phil Sell now. Is he going to use the draft into turn 1?
This is the question. Oh, Phil Sell's going to jump in the pits. Okay, so he's the first of the front runners to jump into the pit lane.
Maybe he might have seen a battle forming with Hampstead and knew that it might waste him time battling, and it might be easier to get in the pits and come out and clean track. We'll see how it goes.
Yep, and I'm noticing Jason Hyde in the pits as well, but not in the car, so I think that may be a retirement there for the Performance Motorsports driver. Jared Filsell getting his car filled up, and he's away. So Filsell now out of the pits, and Heath Brennan down in the pits as well. Another retirement, shame to see. Also, looks like we've lost Ross Rizzo, Michael Healy, and Sean Kelly is now 5 laps down, but still out on track.
Yeah, some of the guys that made it very interesting for us in the last race, racing hard all throughout the field, and yeah, a bit of a shame to see them retire in this race.
Yeah, certainly, especially since they would have had a chance to gain back some ground. But we're focused on P1 and 2. Joshua Rogers is leading this race. Madison Down following very closely behind. When are these guys going to pit? Phil Sell was the first to blink. So
yep. Rogers and Madison will react to that. They might pit in this lap, or will they decide to stay out longer? Madison was a lot closer to Rogers in the first half of the lap, but just seemed to drop a bit off Rogers. So we'll see what goes on from here. Are they any of them going to pull in the pits? No, they both stay out.
All right, so it's lap 10. They have just started lap 11 now, so that's 20 laps remaining in this race.
So Mitchell Sealak, the other ANZ driver, has been the first to pit on this lap. So the driver in P10, the next person to blink in P10, so that's Phil Sell's teammate. So that might be an ANZ strategy we're seeing come out here.
May very well be. Get that early stop out of the way and go for the long final stint. Stay out of trouble. Keep those tyres fresh and yeah, see how many positions you can pick up at the end.
I think it might be a safe bet. We might see Kane Kugamiya come in the pits if he's going to follow the form of his two teammates.
Yep, Sealak is now away. We focus once again on the battle with Moore, Dixon and Stenberg. Looks like Moore's pulled away just a tiny bit, maybe a car length, probably a little less. But Stenny is right on the back of Dixon here. Really nice battle going on here, but I don't think we'll be seeing any major moves from these guys because, of course, they'll all be mindful of the fact that they've got a pit stop coming up.
Yeah, that's it. We're starting to see a couple cars come in. Lap 11 of a 29-lap race, so yeah, they've been nearing their pit stop time. We're seeing the leaders come across now. We'll see if any of them pit again. Yeah, Rogers and Madison still electing to stay out, so good, interesting.
Yes, indeed. So let's see. Let's take a look back in the pack, see what these other guys are doing. It looks like most drivers are electing to stay out. Actually, Stenberg. Yep.
Stenberg's the next one to come in.
Then he peels into the pits. So there we go. He's seen that getting stuck behind Dixon and Moore is not very conducive to a good result, so he's elected to get out of there and get in some clean air, and following him into the pits and overshooting his pit stall, Luke Harvey in car number 5. Wow, what a shame. That's a valuable seconds lost for the ERA driver who was in 15th at the time.
Yeah, we've seen that. That's another driver tonight we've seen. We saw in Split 2, Michael Talovich, sorry, I can't really pronounce his name properly yet, but we saw him overshoot his pit box as well, and we've seen it again. So as I said, it happens to pretty much everyone. It's an easy mistake to make.
Just call him Mike T, Mike Tyson.
Mike T, that's the one.
But nonetheless, Josh Rogers and Madison Down coming up to the last part of the lap, and my eyes are on them. We will see if they elect to pull into the pits this time by lap 12. No, not this time.
Out.
Yeah, see.
So Hampstead will pull in the pits though.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now these I'm sensing now these are mind games here between Down and Rogers. So Down is waiting for Rogers to pit, I would definitely think. Otherwise, he would want to pit maybe a lap before him and get some clear air, maybe get an undercut.
Yeah, see, I'm seeing the times of the two guys up in front. They're a couple of tenths quicker than everyone else in the field at the moment, so they know that their cars are still quick. There's no need for tyres and fuel yet because they know their cars are still quick. They're not losing time by staying out, but yep, you're definitely right. Madison will be waiting for Rogers to blink, and Rogers will be waiting for Madison to blink between these two.
Oh, this is really, really good. Can't wait for this. But Hampstead has come out of the pits now, just ahead of Jared Filsell. He's got a bit of a gap, but Filsell has closed that gap right up.
Yeah, we saw in the Split 2 race, cold tyres. It can hurt a little bit on your outlap, so we'll see if Filsell might be able to pull something out of this.
It's one thing to catch up, it's another thing to pass, especially at a place like Interlagos. I mean, passing is a bit easier here than it is at most other tracks, but still, in a field like V8SCOPS, passing someone...
And a driver like Richard Hampstead, he's not going to just let you by.
Yeah, nah, Richard Hampstead is known as a supreme defensive driver. Somehow has the ability to just make his car impassable just by driving his regular line.
They're going to come past the slow car here, Michael Ford. They've caught him pretty quick this lap. Will this make any effect between them?
We'll have to take a look. Michael Ford is maintaining his line. Richard Hampstead has got the draft now. Ford runs a little bit wide there. What's Ford doing? Is he going to go for the pits? Yes! Oh no!
Oh,
Ford was going to go for
contact.
the pits and Hampstead mistakenly went for the inside. Oh no. Well, that's made Jared Filsell's job a lot easier, or has it, as he just slides through turn 1 and Hampstead gets the position right back. So no net change there, I guess.
Yeah, we said this might make a difference with this lap car coming, or not lap car, but a bit of a slower car that hadn't taken their pit stop yet. We've seen Rogers come in the pit as well. He's pulled out in front of Hampstead.
Yeah, okay, so Rogers was the first to blink. So Madison Down is still out there. I would expect Madison in this lap.
Yep, lap 14 of 28, so we're exactly halfway. So 50% on your tyres, it's not a bad call.
Yeah, certainly not. Kane Kugamiya. Kane Kugamiya staying out as well, but still looking further back in the field. Seeing Cialak on the back of Brenton Hobson here. Oh, just sticking it up the inside, and he tags Hobson in the rear, but yields once again. Good sportsmanship there from Cialak. Good to see.
And while you guys were focusing on that, I was keeping my eye on Madison, and yep, Rogers blinked, and Madison is in the pit this lap.
All right, there we go.
Better keep an eye on these guys and see how they come out.
Kugamiya's followed him in, so that's Down and Kugamiya in the pits.
Sutton and Maloney, only two that are not pit yet. Rogers coming across the line now.
So Madison Down is away. There's Rogers. Madison Down's got to go through the pit exit. Just...
I think he'll have the advantage here.
Yeah, he will. Wow. Yeah, that was a good call from Madison. It got him the lead of the race back.
But as I said, cold tyres, will Rogers be able to pull him real quickly on these cold tyres? We'll have to find out.
Yeah. Well, it's quite the gap here, though, that Madison has managed to get from Rogers.
Yeah, you are correct. He might have taken a... Well, we saw Madison in the draft of Rogers that whole time, so he could have been fuel saving as well to not have to take as much fuel.
Yeah, certainly. It's only one lap of fuel may not seem like much, but in a car as thirsty as a V8 supercar, it can make all the difference. So, good call by Madison there, I suppose.
You're exactly right. We'll see how this all plays out in the end.
Focusing on Joshua Rogers at the moment. Now in the process of chasing down Madison Down. As we see Sam Sutton has just pulled into the pits. So Jake Maloney remains the only car at the top of the field who hasn't taken a stop yet.
Another point to bring up, we saw Lee Ellis pit early with his incident. He's now right behind Kane Kugamiya. So
oh, he is too.
Will we see Lee pit again, or do you reckon he might be able to get through the whole race? It will be interesting to find out.
Yeah, definitely will. David Moore in the pits as well, car 6. Yeah, I'm interested to see what Ellis can do as we see a car pulling out of pits behind them. That is Sutton. So Sutton's come out a fair amount ahead of Jake Burton. That's a Rogers v Down kind of gap we've seen between Sutton and Burton.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. Yeah, so Sutton might have got a bit of an advantage out of it.
Well, now the front 4 are reasonably spread out. But of course, Josh Rogers certainly 1.09 seconds of a gap between them, but certainly Rogers will be looking to make some of that up.
We'll see when they cross the line and what their lap times are. Who's going to fire the first quick lap on the new tyres?
Yes, indeed. And remember, Rogers' tyres are 1 lap older than Madison's. So Madison Down's first lap out of the pits is going to be a 1:31.9. Rogers a 1:31.7. So Rogers on fire at the moment.
Yeah, the gap's almost perfectly a second crossing that line there, so there's not much for Rogers to cap. A couple of laps like that, and he'll be there. He'll get the draft soon as well, which will be a benefit.
Jake Maloney has pitted, and Ellis is back in the pits. So, yeah, that's his run come to an end.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Obviously, couldn't get it done in the early stop, but yeah.
That's going to drop him a fair amount down.
Mitchell
Who's he come out
Sealack.
ahead of? Sealack.
No, Mitchell Sealack
No.
and Brenton Hobson are still bumper to bumper. It looks like they might be still continuing the fight.
Yeah, true. Oh, Sealack with the run on Hobson, though. Are they going to go side by side through Ferradura? Sealack's got the braking, but Hobson's got the inside line, but Sealack's got the traction, but Hobson's got the inside line for the turn, but Sealack's going to try and hold it, but he cannot.
Yeah, well, we might see a dive. We've seen a couple of boys do big dives. Will we see a dive in the next hairpin? Nah, I think the gap's just a bit too big.
Yeah. Of course, Sealack has made a few attempts at overtakes that have almost ended in misery, but he's a good and experienced enough driver that... Oh, goodness me! As I say that, I'm so sorry, Mitchell. He loses it coming through that sweeper, and he's going to end up missing the entire last turn trying to get back on the track. So, unfortunate stuff there for Mitchell.
Yeah, he had a little bit of damage on his car. I could see a couple of panels missing, so that might have been not helping. So, yeah, a bit of a shame. Yeah, he's looking for a good result here too.
Lee Ellis has come out of the pits ahead of Michael Ford, so Ellis will slot in around 15th, I think, after that.
That's not too bad from Ellis considering what he's had to go through. So last lap, Madison 32.1, Rogers 31.8. So another 3-4 tenths there. There's only a 7/10 gap between the two cars.
Matt's going to have to try and turn on his defense mode once again. I'm wondering if he short-filled
Yeah, you could be
to
right.
try and
He
get
might-
that advantage.
Yeah, I believe you might be right there. He could be saving a little bit of fuel. Might not be much, but yeah, as you said, it doesn't take much in these cars.
It certainly doesn't, but, you know, Madison has definitely tried a couple of times this season, the old short fill, to try and get the jump on someone and then be forced to fuel save for the rest of the race. It cost him the victory at round 1 at Montreal. I don't know. I don't think he's showing any signs of fuel saving at the moment. What's this lap? A 31.9? Rogers with a 31.9 as well. Let's jump on board with Madison down briefly, take a look at his driving style at this next braking zone, and see if he is fuel saving at all. Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I don't think he is because Madison and Rogers and Rich Hampstead are the only people doing 31s, 8s and 9s, but then Philcell 32.6, Kugamiya 32.2, Sutton 32.4, so the top 3 are the only 2 in the 31s at the moment, so I find it hard to believe that Madison would be fuel saving.
Yeah, certainly. It's was worth a shot though. Considering that I saw that 32 from him, I thought, oh, maybe he's lifting off in a couple of braking zones. But regardless, the gap between Rogers and Down is still decreasing, if at a very slow rate. Look at the amount of runoff they're using on the entry to that corner. They're absolutely pushing this track for all it's worth. But they come down the start-finish stretch once again. Rogers with a 32.0. Down with a 32.0 as well. There is absolutely nothing between these guys. This is a really exciting battle forming. No pit stops left. Nothing left to do in the race but actually race. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out.
8 laps to go, so they're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We'll start seeing what they're made of. Hampstead will be there as well. The moment Rogers makes a move on Down and they lose the smallest bit of time, Hampstead will be there as well to pick up the pieces.
Certainly will, and his last lap was 2 tenths faster than Down and Rogers, so Yeah, top 3 battle forming.
Yeah, our race 1 winner in P3, he's definitely got a lot to show.
Meanwhile, Phil Sell and Kugamir just holding station there in 4th and 5th. Sutton, Burton, Maloney, Hobson, Latham, all relatively spaced out. There's only one battle I've seen so far, and that is David Moore and Kurt Stenberg. Apart from the top 2, of course. But Moore and Stenberg for positions 13 and 14. Getting a bit heated there at the moment. Burkett and Jordan Ross as well.
Yeah, yep, I was just about to say that as well, so another synergy car in the fight.
Brian Shelton also catching up to Henry King after he made a mistake, so it'll be interesting to see how that battle turns out towards the end.
So last lap, Madison down 32-0, Rogers 32-2-4, so he's lost a bit there, but then again, Hampstead 31-9, so Richard Hampstead's really showing up some good pace here.
Super looking forward to this now. They're almost in formation, these guys, coming through a series of cascading hairpins.
Meanwhile, Stenny and David Moore still bumper to bumper. Will David show a nose up into the top here? No, still a bit too far back.
Yeah, they're catching up again to Dixon though. Stenny and Jason have been together quite a bit in this event, I have to say.
Yeah, we see that when it comes to these. You know, when your pace is similar to someone else, you'll probably find each other out on track. But yeah, I think most of the guys in this field all have a bit of respect for each other. So it's always going to breed some good racing.
Yeah, certainly. Major emphasis placed on actually racing the people that you race against and not just bumping them off. Oh, I'm seeing the battle really heat up, between Burkett and Ross. Coming through the first couple of turns, Burkett's right on the back of him.
Yeah, Burkett's got the bonnet missing. He might lose a little bit of straight line speed here. We'll see what he's got down into turn 3, turn 4 here.
He pulls out, and he's going to get on the brakes just a little later than Ross. Ross is going to try and hold it round the outside.
They'll go side by side out here. Will Burkett have enough of a gap to overlap into the top? Ross losing all the track on the outside. He's going to stay side by side up the hill.
Yeah, Ross not giving up.
Burkett got a bit squirmy under brakes there. Didn't even expect Ross to be there. Will he look for a move at the inside and the hairpin? No, he's just going to slop behind.
Yeah, still really good fighting from these guys. Respectful, giving each other just enough room.
Yeah, I think Burkett's just struggling with a little bit of grip. He's got a bit of damage on his car, but still driving on the limit and has his pace to fight with Ross.
Yeah, definitely. But as they come to the long, flat-out front stretch, will Burkett be able to pass Ross into turn 1? They've managed to get out of Junkau with a bit of not much between them.
Also looking in the 14th, 15th, we've seen Lee Ellis get past David Moore, who we knew was behind Stenny, and he's got a couple more tenths a lap on Stenny as well, so we might see another battle fight with him.
Yeah, it seems that way. But yeah, keeping an eye on the battle between Burkett and Ross. Looks like Burkett's just drawn back a little bit. So let's put paid to that for now.
But Lee Ellis, P14 after 2 pit stops so far tonight. So no, we know he'll definitely get home to the end now. Still P14, so he's only lost 4 spots from where he started at the moment, and I reckon he might get Stenny in the next few laps as well. So Lee Ellis has come back with a really great drive tonight.
Yeah, he certainly has. Fantastic job from Lee.
Oh, just looking at the lap board, a few tenths dropped off between Madison and Rogers. They're going to go past one of the Fusion Sim Racing cars here, coming down the straight.
Yeah, Will Dodd letting them through. So yeah.
So, Down and Rogers, the gap's closed back up again. They kind of seem steady there for a while, but Rogers showing he's got a bit more to go. 31.8 on the last lap, so yeah, he's brought his pace back and might be trying to bring a fight to Madison in these dying laps.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. Rogers has just found a little bit of a second wind, it seems. Maybe saved his tyres a little bit, and is now using them to their full potential to try and catch back up to Madison Down.
Oh, we've got a Stenny, Ellis, Moore. They're going down. Moore doesn't know which way to go. Ellis up the inside of Stenny. They're
goodness
close.
Me.
They're very close.
They almost touched door handles there. In fact, I think they did, but Ellis goes by on Stenberg.
Moore have a look on Stenny as well, coming up the hill. Ellis already has a car length gap, so I don't think there'll be a fight back from Stenny.
Oh, well, Ellis has been able to just stretch out a tiny bit of a gap. Stenny's letting him know, I'm still here. I will still pass you if I ever get even a whiff of a chance.
Another 2 tenths taken off Down. A 32.2 to a 31.9, so this is a fight now. Rogers right on the back of Madison.
Yeah, we're coming up to start. We're on lap 25 actually, out of 29. So these are the dying stages of the race. The time's running out for both of these guys. Down wants to fend off Rogers. Rogers wants to pass Down and take the win here at the Sao Paulo Super Sprint. Oh, Rogers just gaining a little bit there through Ferradura. Just took a little bit more of a narrower entry, firing it up the inside. He's getting very liberal with those track limits.
Yeah, Madison's starting to push. I saw a puff of smoke come out of his inside tyre there, so he's on the limit as well. He knows Rogers there. He knows he has to start pushing, otherwise that young man is going to get right around. Here we go, he goes.
Oh, look out! Oh,
side
dear,
by
side. But
Madison's got the inside run. Yep, Madison will have it this lap, but yep, I think the battle is definitely on now.
It certainly is. Rogers has shown his card and says, look, I'm here. I'm ready to fight for this victory. Now it's up to Madison Down to respond. And Richard Hampstead, he's a bit of a distance behind, but he'll be seeing this happen and he'll be thinking, what can I get out of this? Oh, Rogers up the inside. Up the inside of Down at turn 1. They're going to go side by side once again. Rogers losing ground to Down.
Remember, these three were pretty much the top 3 in race 1, so they are fighting for the round win as well. So, yeah, I think we got hurt.
If Rogers finishes second, he will win the round, we're hearing. So he'll already have that wrapped up, but of course, he'll want to go for that race victory. And I really don't blame him at all.
Yeah, we've seen a lot from Rogers this season. He's been one to watch this season. Yeah, I've seen him do some crazy things like Sebring with Madison and Jared. Like, no one saw that coming from the young kid, but look at him again, just putting it on Madison. Very experienced driver in the V8. And he knows that Rogers is right behind him. He's going to go defensive up into the hairpin here.
No,
Rogers is going to look for another one. That was
Rogers
deep.
just squeezing it up the inside. Down,
Madison's
sliding.
got wheel spin.
Whoa, that was fantastic. But
As
Rogers
I said,
has the race lead.
I said it. I said Rogers, he's shown us some moves like Sebring, and there it was. Madison goes defensive. Rogers says, "Nah, I'm going for it."
Yeah, wow, Rogers just absolutely shoving it up the inside. He had just enough room, and he made it work. That is fantastic to see, but yeah, now Richard Hampstead is right behind them. We've got 2 laps to go here. Madison
Rogers
down in Rogers' slipstream. He's going to go for the move here at turn 1. Fighting once again. Oh, bit of contact there. Nose-to-tail contact between Down and Rogers. This is fantastic. Fantastic racing here at the moment. Rogers has a little bit of a run in the first part of turn 3. We're going on board with Richard Hampstead, seeing this battle here in the top 3 between Madison Down and Joshua Rogers. Rogers moving to the inside. Is he going to try and outbrake Down? No, he's not.
Has a look. Look at Hampstead. Hampstead is on the tail. Hampstead will be looking at this because Hampstead won't want the round win as well. All he has to do is get past Rogers and it's his.
Yep. Oh, here we go. This is absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to see how this turns out. They come through Ferradura once again. And now, this is the part where Madison Down's going to really be looking in his mirrors because Joshua Rogers
gives him a touch.
He's a big fan of trying to go up the inside through these hairpins. So, yeah, Down's going to be looking at his right side mirror coming into this turn. Is Rogers going to fire it up the inside once again? He's definitely got that extra sort of performance under the brakes that Madison just doesn't seem to have.
These boys are racing like it's Formula 1 here at Interlagos. They're moving all over the straights and defending. They think they're in F1 cars, but mate, you're in big ton V8 supercars, and they're throwing them around.
Yeah, Down just a little bit of a slide here. We're coming up on 2 laps to go. I think it's 29 laps, isn't it? Oh no, 28.
No, it's 28. It's 28 laps. So this will be the last lap.
Forum typos, but here we go. The battle
Madison
for the lead.
Down takes the inside.
Oh, Richard Hampstead, a little bit of a squiggle.
I see smoke from Madison. Madison's got...
slide. Oh. This is great.
It's on.
Last
this
lap
is
of the
on.
race.
Joshua Rogers right on the tail of Madison Down. He will have the inside run coming into turn 4. Hampstead slots behind Rogers. Wherever he goes, Hampstead will follow. Nope, he's going to tuck behind Madison. Rogers will take it into turn 4.
Just enough room.
Madison tries to slot in, but there's a Hampstead there as well. He's going to go straight up the inside of Rogers.
Oh, here we go. On board with Hampstead. They're going to go side by side into Ferradura again. Check this out. This is fantastic. This is what we come for.
Hampstead will shoot it up the inside of Madison Down. Ooh. But Madison Down will have the inside run into the next left. But will Hampstead have a look coming into the hairpin? Rogers will be going, come on Richard, get past him, I need it. And up the inside goes it.
Here we go, here we go. Oh, he's going to give it a try. Oh, just didn't work. Josh Rogers, meanwhile, he's got this lead. I think he's going to have it, but Madison Down versus Richard Hampstead is all we are watching at the moment. Unfortunately, they do have a straight here. Richard Hampstead messes up the exit of Junkau slightly. I don't think Slipstream's going to do anything here, so Josh Rogers is your round winner and your race winner. Oh, wow. Hampstead second, Down third in the round. Josh Rogers takes victory in race 2. Madison Down second, Richard Hampstead third. What a race!
Well, Phil Cell and Kane Kumi are going side by side across the line as well.
Oh, yeah. Who ended up winning out of that? Jared Phil Cell.
Yeah, that might have just been a team photo opportunity there for the two
Most
boys.
likely.
ANZ.
Sam Sutton finishes ahead of Jake Burton. Jake Maloney crossing the line in 8th. Brenton Hobson 9th. Oh, Dixon and Stenberg still battling though. Stenny's got a little whiff of a draft from Dixon here. Is he going to be able to take 13th place from Jason Dixon? No, he isn't. Unfortunate for Stenny, but Dixon will definitely be happy with a 12th place from a 20th place start. Fantastic stuff.
Stenny couldn't get it pulled up into turn 1 after the check in this round, straight into Lee Ellis, who has taken P11 just outside the top 10. That's a 1 position loss from his P10 start after taking 2 pit stops after his first lap incident. So Lee Ellis, bloody good drive.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Michael Ford ended up finishing in 15th, promoting himself a couple of positions up. Meanwhile, Joe Burkett could not pass Jordan Ross and has to settle for P18. It looks like he's got a bit of damage as well, so I think there may have been a little bit of an ending in tears moment for those guys. So, whoa. 24 cars finishing this race on the lead lap. Bruce Keeley is going to cross the line in 23rd. Oh, what happened to John Latham? He's a lap down. Something must have happened to him. That's unfortunate. But, goodness me, Ryan Shelton will be happy with 20th place from a 30th place start. And what more can you say? That battle for the lead, it was Sebring all over again, but with Hammer in place of Phil Cell. Just fantastic stuff to see, guys. And wow, that'll make for a really nice highlights package, won't it?
Yeah, that's it. Been an excellent race to call, but the TTL boys taking out race 1 and 2, they'll be really happy with that. And Rogers taking out the round and Hampstead P2. So what a night for TTL.
Yep, fantastic stuff for TTL in this last half of the season. They've come off from winning the Endurance Cup. We should mention John Latham and Richard Hampstead in that pairing were the champions of that little championship within a championship that we have here at V8SCOPS. And yeah, just really turning it up in this final stage of the season. So, wow, as the cars pull into the pits, I think it's time to run through the race results. So, Joshua Rogers was your winner, and he will take the round win as well. Madison down in second, Richard Hampstead in third. Jared Philsell and Caden Kugamiya rounding out your top 5. Sam Sutton in 6th place. 7th place, Jake Burton. Jake Maloney 8th. 9th, Brenton Hobson. Mitchell Sealack rounding out the top 10.
And following the top 10, Lee Ellis, P11. Awesome drive him. Jason Dixon, his other TTL driver, P12. Kurt Stenberg leading the Fusion Sim Racing charge in 13th. David Moore for Synergy, 14th. Michael Ford, P15 from 25. That's a good result for Michael Ford there. Luke Harvey, 16th. Jordan Ross, 17th. Joe Burkett, 18th. Wayne C. Burke, 19th. Ryan Shelton rounding out your top 20. And that will be followed by All-Star Motorsports, Scott Soslowski, Henry King, Bruce Kiley, John Latham, and then John Latham being the last car to finish on the lead lap. Then we have Will Dodd, Craig Jones. I'd say they would have finished the race, and then yeah, the retirees would be Adam Hyland, Heath Brennan, Sean Kelly, Ethan Grigalt caught up in that early incident, Jason Hyde, Ross Rizzo, and Michael Healy.
Well, there you go. And Todd Parks did not take the start, so that's your field for the Sao Paulo Super Sprint. We're waiting now for drivers to come in for interviews, if any decide to come in. But wow, Dylan, what a race that was, and what a round too. And you know, the penultimate round of V8SCOPS, and these super sprints, they always turn it up, don't they?
Yeah, it's quite funny because in real life, watching the Virgin Australian Supercars Championship at Pukekohe, you know, a lot of people complain, including the drivers, about the super sprint rounds because it's not as interesting for them, but on the simulation side, on the V8SCOPS, we love it. We get the perfect racing here.
Yeah, we certainly do, and what a track, eh? Fantastic stuff to see at one of the most historic circuits in the world, from one of the countries that's the most passionate about motorsport and sport in general. So yeah, thank you very much, laser scanned version of Interlagos from 2013. You really turned it up tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Just my cameras are still set on the scenic at the moment, and just seeing the backdrop of the big city of Interlagos in Brazil in the background of this awesome circuit that, yeah, as you said, just turned on a great night of racing. It's just one of them tracks, you know, a lot of heavy braking zones for overtaking, corner after corner for your, like, you know, your switchbacks, and yeah, it's just definitely turned it on tonight.
Certainly. And we have our first interviewee jumping in here. Welcome to the commentary box, Mr. Jake Burton. Jake, it was a really, really good round for you. Top 6 in race 1 and top 7 in race 2.
Yeah, thanks, Reese. Yeah, I guess you could say from a put that perspective, consistency-wise and result-wise, it was good. But yeah, to be honest, I'm pretty disappointed with that result. Just poor effort in qualifying, and yeah, was then stuck behind some guys that I probably was a bit quicker than for the rest of the 2 races, and got caught in that battle when I kind of felt like I should have been up in that lead battle with Kane and Jared. So yeah, bit of a shame, but yeah, just need to work on that qualifying performance.
Well
So,
go on,
Jake, so how did you find the format for qualifying tonight, Jake, with your fastest lap for race 1 and second fastest for race 2?
Well, it favoured me because I was able to be relatively consistent in qualifying and put in 2.6s, so pretty much meant I was set in stone to start in the top 10 in both races. But yeah, it was just 20-minute sessions, really short to get 2 laps in, so I did my 2 banker laps, and then just the qual pace wasn't there. So the track didn't come to me in that first race in qualifying, and yeah, that kind of cost us for the whole round, but that's alright. You know, 2 top 10 finishes still to be happy with.
Yeah, good stuff, Jake. And of course, this being the penultimate round of the season, I suppose you're looking to close out on a high note.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, got some other commitments between now and then. Obviously, trying to qualify for the Blancpain Series next weekend, so that'll be probably my next thing I look at. But yeah, definitely looking to close the season off strong at Road America. It's definitely been a favourite of mine to drive in the past. Haven't had great luck there in Scops like last year, just was a little bit back in the pack. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. It should be a really interesting race, and I'll be aiming to try and push up into that top 5 a little bit more.
Fantastic stuff to hear, Jake. Well, congratulations on your double top 10, and I guess we'll see you in a few weeks' time at Road America.
Thanks, Reece, and I'll just take the time to thank you guys. I know it was a little bit tough with commentators, so good on you, Shep, for jumping in there, mate, and Fonty as usual. So see you guys at Road America.
Yeah, good one, Jake. Good result tonight, mate.
Jake Burton there. So, I think now would be an opportune time to bring in our round winner on account of his fantastic finishing positions in both races, winning the second race. Welcome to the commentary box, Josh Rogers. A fantastic drive, mate.
Cheers, boys. That was, Jesus, that last lap, that was almost Sebring-esque. Awesome fun, great racing from Richard and Mad too. To be able to drive door-to-door like that needs a lot of cooperate from the other drivers, so yeah, that was some really good fun. Thanks to those boys for making that as good as it was.
Yeah, we were up in the box calling it another Sebring because we just saw some moves there. And as you said, it definitely takes some cooperation between you, Madison, and Richard to make sure that their moves don't end in tears. And we saw some really good racing, and you were the one that pulled it off and took home the win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all in all, that race was quite hectic. I think my fuel burn, as always, hindered me a little bit. I seemed to lose a lot of time to Matt, but I did make that error into turn 1. For a while, I didn't think I was going to catch up, but I think he started making a couple errors, and that was when I was driving my hardest. So yeah, all in all, though, good result. It's good for the championship. We'll see where we end up. I think it's a bit of a long shot, but you can never get off until it's over, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, speaking of the championship, of course, our final round of the championship next round is at Road America. So what are your thoughts on that, I suppose? Is that a strong track for you?
Yeah, look, not too sure. Haven't done too many races around there, but it is an enjoyable track, and always seem to perform at tracks I enjoy driving. But it is definitely a track where it can promote great racing, which will be good for the series too. And I guess it'll make it a bit more interesting between us drivers, and also could create some chaos, I guess. So we'll see what happens.
Indeed, we will. Well, best of luck, Josh, and congratulations on your round win.
Cheers, boys. If I can, I'd just like to take time to thank all the boys from TTL for all the effort they put in. Wouldn't be able to compete at the level we do, and be able to come away with results like this without them. Also, Hyper Stimulator for taking care of us. They do some really awesome rigs and stuff. If anybody's interested in looking at them, just look them up and go from there.
Fantastic stuff. Catch you later, Josh.
Cheers, mate.
That was Josh Rogers. The next guy we're going to bring in is Richard Hampstead, who is our second place finisher in the round results, if I'm not wrong. Richard, welcome to the commentary box. Congratulations on a double podium.
Yeah, cheers, guys. pretty happy with that. That was a pretty entertaining night's racing. I hope you guys enjoyed commentating on that because yeah, I had a blast, absolute blast racing. Had a great battle with Rogers race one and just managed to hold him out and break about a year and a half victory drought. So that was pretty good. And yeah, second race. Oh geez, almost shunted Rogers into turn one. I was very scared about that. I thought he was around for sure, but he's pretty talented, so he was lucky. He was able to hold on to that, which was very lucky. And yeah, then had a pretty good probably the box seat of watching the battle between Madison and Rogers. And yeah, right at the end there, I was able to yeah, latch onto that and had a bit of a go at Madison, but he was just a little bit too good, and I just wasn't able to get past him.
Yeah, it was top performance tonight, Richard. Taking out the first race, I thought it looked like it was a bit special to you. Haven't seen you up there in a while, and you ripped out some pretty good burnouts for us all. But yeah, that second race, very tight battle. What was running through your head in them last few laps? We just want to get an idea because it didn't look like you were going to be there with the last 5 laps or so. But yeah, last few laps, did you know that they were coming to you, or did you just get a bit of a surprise when you were right behind them?
Well, it was a bit of a stalemate for most of that second stint. Like Rogers was just keeping about a second off Madison, and I was just keeping about a second off Rogers. But I knew if Rogers and Madison started battling, we'd all close up, and I knew Madison probably had to make a mistake to allow Rogers to get up to him, and I think Madison might have made a small mistake, or Rogers just dug a bit deep, and yeah, caught up to him, and they had a bit of a battle, so that let me onto them, and yeah, bit of a shame I couldn't have got a spot or two and got the round win, but yeah, I'm very happy with tonight, and yeah, just happy to be able to race for wins. It's been a bit of a rough patch for a while.
It certainly has, Richard. Are you wanting to try and get another one in at Road America? I know that there's been some spectacular moments from you there in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. If I could, if I could finish off the season with a win, that would be very good. So, hopefully, the other three, get a little bit distracted with the championship. I think it's very close between Madison and Jared. Rogers is a little bit further behind, but yeah, I'll just go out there and do my best, and hopefully, yeah, finish off the season on a high.
Brilliant stuff, Richard. Well, thank you for joining us, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys. See you then.
Richard Hampstead there, breaking, as you said, Shep, that almost a year and a bit victory drought. Next guy we're going to bring in is Madison Down. Madison, third place in the round standings, and of course, a double podium for you as well. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Reese. Probably not quite the way I wanted to end the night, losing the lead there on the last lap, but yeah, what an awesome night. What an awesome night of racing. I'm sure a lot of that was probably pretty entertaining to watch. It was certainly bloody entertaining in the car. Yeah, plenty of two-wide action, bit of contact, lots of dive bombing. It was bloody awesome fun. That was really good.
Yeah, that's it, Madison. You put on a good show for all the commentators and viewers out there, and we really loved it. So, just regarding the second race there, with a bit of fuel burn, we see with Josh, he said he struggled a little bit and didn't think he was going to catch you. Were you pretty safe with the fuel burn?
Yeah, to an extent. I finished with about a litre to go at the line, which is safe enough, and yeah, I basically spent the whole first part of the race when Josh initially passed me. I just sat behind him and could have attacked him and could have probably passed him back, but I mean, with the way the racing was, you were passing each other every 2 or 3 laps anyway, so I just thought I'll just sit behind him, save fuel. So I saved about 2 or 3 litres behind him and took about 2 or 3 litres less in the stop, and that was why I was able to jump him in the stop. And yeah, I just ran flat out to the line. Unfortunately, he was close enough to get a draft, and the draft around this place is pretty big, so he reeled me in. No drama, well, not no dramas, but he did get to me in the end, and it's very hard to defend here. So no, we had a really good run there at the end, but almost got a win. So can't be too disappointed. We had good pace this week, and good to get the Ultimate Karting Sydney car up fighting for wins again.
Yeah, I think it's quite important because you still finished in field cell in both races tonight, which kind of helps for your championship. So what are you thinking leading into the last round at Road America?
Yeah, that was the other thing I had in the back of my head is that yeah, not to defend too hard and get yourself turned around. I mean, I was pretty aggressive, but at the same time, I did know that there was a few cars there between Phil Cell and I, particularly in that second race. So yeah, nice to get a few points over Phil Cell then. But I mean, the last round, I'm not sure what the points are currently, but it'll be really close. And basically, the last round at Road America will be whoever finishes in front of the other, I think. So it's going to be another championship down to the wire, and that's exactly the way it was last season as well with Jared and I. So have to see how we go.
And we definitely can't wait for that. Well, thank you for joining us, Madison, and we'll see you at Road America.
Thanks, guys. See you there.
Madison down there, third place finisher in the round. We shall bring up next Mr. Jared Philsell. Jared, a double fourth place here at Interlagos, and your championship was definitely not hurt.
A little bit. Pretty average night.
Maybe a tiny bit.
Pretty average night. I think the other boys owe it to us and Synergy for getting our set up accidentally. That definitely played a part. I think the whole race maybe would have been a fixed setup, would have been a bit better, because I think pretty sure everyone in that whole race was on our setup. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Have to come out next week or whenever it is and do a better job, because the car was definitely not that great tonight, even though it was probably the same setup. I think we missed the boat by a long way, tyre pressure wise and setup wise, before the race. But fourth place can't be too happy with that one. It's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, Phil, because I was thinking tonight in the races that your car just didn't seem to have what it needed to be with them front guys. You were consistent and you were fast compared to the rest of the field, but yeah, just them front few, you were just a bit off. So yeah, a bit of hard luck tonight. You definitely drove the best that you could, and we know that you're one of the best drivers around here, and that's why you ended up where you are. So coming to the last round, what are your thoughts and what's the plan?
We'll work out the points, obviously, to Madison and see where we finish up and work out the calculations. Who needs to finish where and whatnot, obviously. It's better to be in front than chasing, that's for sure. Yeah, tonight was pretty bad. The car just wasn't there at all in the front end. Just felt like felt just like a shopping trolley, pretty much.
Yeah, a bit unlucky there, mate. So, and another thing I just noticed, coming across the line in the end, side by side with your teammate Kane, was that a photo opportunity kind of thing, or was he genuinely catching you and going for a position?
Yeah, he was actually faster than me in that second race there, so he had good pace. I'm not sure, I don't know. I think it's just a bit of the driver tonight, to be honest, but he definitely wasn't going to pass me, he said, so probably a photo opportunity, I'd say.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Well, good luck coming into the final round. You turned it on for us a couple of seasons ago when it was the first round, and while up here, we can't wait to see what you bring for us.
Thanks, mate.
There we go, Jared Philsell there for ANZ Motorsports. Double fourth place here at the Sao Paulo Super Sprint. The next guy we're going to bring up is Sam Sutton. Sam, it was a fifth place finish for you in race 1 and a sixth place for you in race 2.
Yeah, consistency was the key tonight. Kane not having a great run in the first race, we got him early, so grabbed fifth, and yeah, sixth in the last race was pretty good, considering Burton found a bit of pace from race 1 to 2, and it was a bit harder to keep him behind on the last lap there.
You guys definitely battled super hard in race 1. I saw you guys diving up the inside of each other absolutely everywhere. Was it fun out there in race 1?
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of last weekend at VIR when we were in that big train with Hampstead and Schreier, except there was a lot more sending it. I think this track was suited to that. I think every lap one of us sent it at one of the two right-hand hairpins because you could. No, it was great fun though. Car was good. We got to thank Michael Schreier for setting a setup with the whole world that I think it was basically a fixed setup race tonight for the top 10. We all were on the same setup, so it was good fun. Cars were pretty even, and for once, not down the field in a sprint race.
Very interesting. You're the second person to bring up this setup. Do you want to give us a bit more insight on what's happened there?
Oh, well, someone shared a setup to the entire pre-qualifying server that they probably shouldn't have, and two teams gobbled it up.
Oh, wow. Very interesting.
Yeah, geez, that's I've had that happen a couple of times in other leagues that I've participated in, and it's completely changed the face of the championship in a couple of cases. But wow, yeah, that's definitely something to be a talking point for the latter half of the season, I suppose.
Yeah, well, with one round to go at Road America and no drop round involved, I think Rogers might still be within 300 points, which is mathematically with a shot. But I think the fights between Madison and Phil Sell, and with what happened, it's sort of leveled the setup field a bit. ANZ haven't got that advantage they had. They might find something in the next couple of weeks, but at the moment, I think it's going to be a very interesting fight to watch at Road America.
Certainly. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Sam. Congratulations on your double top 10, and I suppose we'll see you at Road America.
Yeah, cheers, guys, and once again, thanks for the broadcast.
No worries. Sam Sutton there in the number 888 TTL Falcon now. Now that TTL has decided to go for Falcons. So the next driver we're going to bring up is Kurt Stenberg. Stenny, it was a very consistent midfield race for you, but you were involved in some very interesting battles.
Yeah, that was a hard night of racing. It was very interesting in the mid-pat, let's just say that. Lots of hard battles.
Yeah, that's it, Steve. We saw you in a lot of rough fights. What do you reckon some of your best ones were?
Oh, there was a good pass on Fosman Ilnabi into the last corner. Yeah, but there were so many things that happened within that 3-lap period. I was 3 wide a couple of times. I don't even fully know what happened.
Yeah, we were having the same issue, Stenny. We were looking everywhere, saying, "Oh, this guy's passing this guy, and they're going 3 wide here, and what's going on?" It was really it was frazzling up here in the commentary box, but out on track, it must have been even more so.
One of the things I remember was going to turn 1 3 wide. I was told I was 3 wide anyway. I don't know. I didn't see anyone there. Wayne Burke was somewhere there, and so was Ilnabi. And yeah, I turned into the corner, and all of a sudden, Ilnabi comes flying across the front of my car, and I was just like, all right. And he just went straight off. I don't know what happened after that, but that was quite a scary incident.
Yeah, very interesting, Stenny. Coming into last round at Road America, you got any goals or anything to go for, or are you just going to go at it?
To make top split.
Not a track for you?
Well, yeah, I've had issues in the past there, but I enjoy the track, I must say, but yeah, haven't done that well there. But this was another one that I don't really like, well, not really that good at, and I don't really like it, but I seem to pull out a result. So yeah, hopefully we go well there in the final round.
Fantastic to hear, Stenny. Well, congratulations on your 14th and 13th place, and yeah, we'll see you at the final round in a couple of weeks' time.
See you guys, thank you.
Kurt Stenberg there for Fusion Sim Racing in car number 47, the final driver we're going to bring up for an interview tonight. Mr. Jake Maloney. Jake, you finished in 10th place in race 1 and 8th in race 2. Some very strong results for you.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, really happy with that. Anytime you can be in the 10 in this field, something to be happy with. Yeah, the races were really good. Also good qualifying, and had my best start in the second race of 7th. And if I didn't try and be a hero on race 1 around the outside of Lee, I might have had a better result in that one. But all in all, 2 top 10s is really good.
Yeah, that's it, Jake. Yeah, brilliant result, man. 2 top 10s, you can't complain with that, as you said. Coming into Road America, you got anything that you need to try and achieve, or you're going to try and support the other TTL boys? What's the plan?
I'll just go fastest and see what happens. I'm not sure how the points will shake out, but with no drop around in the final round, it's going to be an interesting battle between Mad and Jared, and I think if something happens to those two, Rogers is in with a shot, so should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. I'm sorry, to retake it.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, definitely, Jake. I suppose all we can really do is wish you the best of luck at Road America, and maybe we'll see you in the commentary box there as well.
yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for the broadcast.
No worries, mate. Jake Maloney there for Team TTL. And that concludes our driver interviews for tonight. And just to finish up, I think it may be an opportune time to bring up our administration team, Michael Koroleff and Simon Black. Hey guys, welcome to the commentary box. Simon, you had a bit of fun out there in Split 2, but yeah, what a race in Split 1, eh?
Yeah, that was a great race tonight, guys. How are you doing? Have a good night.
Good evening.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're doing all right. Our brains are currently firing on 9 cylinders and a V8 engine, I suppose. It was really interesting to see what was going on out there, especially in race 1.
Yeah, it was, race 1 was a little bit messy, I must say. So, yeah, they had a great race too, didn't they?
Yeah, it was really good to call from the commentary box. Not too many incidents. It was a bit rough, but from your guys' ends, do you have much to go through in your race notes to penalise at the end or anything like that?
Second race was pretty clean. There was a drive-through at the start, but some of the commotion, I think for Lee and Sean, I think got caught up in that one with Ethan. But in the first race, we had a couple of drive-throughs. We had one for Michael, one for David, one for Luke, one for Will, and a couple of points penalties as well. So a bit of action on there tonight.
Yeah, certainly. Well, you guys are going to be kept busy in the days after the race, but in terms of the spectacle, I suppose it was utterly brilliant, and we had pretty much a repeat of like a Sebring style battle at the end of race 2 between Down, Rogers, and Hammer, and that was absolutely fantastic to see that kind of racing.
It's certainly good. It's good to watch, isn't it? This was probably one of the few races I remarked to Simon with, especially for race 2, that was cleaner than most. And we actually got to sit back and watch a little bit of what was happening, even though we're focusing on all sorts of stuff and watching lap times and so forth. But yeah, overall it was certainly a good battle, a great spectacle to watch.
It's a fun track in the V8 too. When I was out there in the Split 2 race tonight, it's one of those places where you got to make sure you get the pass done, and if you only half get it done, then you're vulnerable to the people behind you as well. So always entertaining.
Yeah, you definitely turned it on for us tonight, Simon, in Split 2, having a good battle with them guys at the front. But a bit of unfortunate contact with Brenton O'Brien. Looked like the users just both gone a bit hard. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought when I went into turn 1 there side by side with him, I was, gives you the spotter says right side, and then he said clear, and then said right side again. But by the time he said it the second time, I was already going round. So. I guess a little bit me, but yep, there's not much I could do about that one. But I had fun anyway.
Yeah, it's just one of them racing things, I guess. So while we got ya, can you give us a bit of insight on points coming into the last round, what we can expect to look forward to?
That's your department,
the last round at Road America is going to be pretty interesting, I think. Not 100% on where the guys are on the points, but I think probably Madison gained a few points on Jared tonight, I think. So I think there'd probably be around about a 10 or a 15 point lead without doing the numbers. So it's still all to play for at the final round.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think the last round should be very interesting. I think we'll probably make sure that nobody shares their setups with absolutely everybody. If we can stop that, it might be an interesting round. I believe several drivers were very grateful for that, and we're only having a friendly dig. I was listening to some of the chatter downstairs, and certainly there were a few drivers there that were very happy with it. Jared wasn't one of them, but
that was a complete surprise to me, Mike. Like I had no idea that happened. That really shocked me.
I didn't either. I was just listening to how it all came about. I've been quite busy this week and haven't been able to keep up with it. But yeah, an interesting thing. But it just shows really when you think about it, different guys come up with different setups and how they go about creating their speed and so forth. And even the fast guys, everyone used to always be, oh, can you share a setup? Can you share a setup? From these fast guys, and yet there are plenty of guys through the field that have fantastic setup knowledge. that share them, and these quick guys just go faster with it. And yeah, there were certainly a few guys I think that benefited from that tonight. But either way, I guess it's shaken up the championship considerably, hasn't it? You've got guys like Richard Hampstead who goes out there and wins a race, which is good to see, just for the sheer variety of it. Then you've got Madison leading, and then Josh is there, and Jared's struggling with the front end, and you had Kane on pole, and all that sort of action going on. So yeah, interesting turn of events, I guess, at Interlagos, a track that a lot of people tend to not like, and yet it does create some fantastic racing. So
Yeah.
interesting stuff. But all down to the last round, boys. What do you think?
I'm really hyped for it now. We've got a single 250k race to decide the championship, and it's at the place where it all started. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Road America. Just fantastic track. Take all of the downforce off the car. Make sure that your slipstreaming skills are up to date, and you got 250Ks to decide a championship, and we've got two guys that are definitely in the fight for it, with a third maybe a little bit more behind, but still mathematically in contention.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a cracker, and it'll cap off what's been really quite a hectic year when you think about it. 15 rounds for the year for you guys and for us and everything. I think it's going to cap off a really good season. Just in general. I think it's stepped up, as it were. It's increased in intensity. The driving standards have increased. The penalties that we've given out, I think, have lessened, and even lessened as the year's gone by, but from last year as well. So the series itself is just, guys are just getting better and better and better, and the tenths, the diminishing return of chasing being fastest or just that better, guys are really honing skills, and we're seeing some great driving, some great racing. I think we're going to cap it off for the last round with a really good event, an exciting race. We'll see how it turns out and what actually happens, but either way, we'll probably end up with a deserving champion, and I think a very good round to tune in and watch, and it'll be a good way to finish the year, to put a full stop on the end of the year, and then all eyes will go forward to March next year, and another series. So look forward to it.
Yeah, certainly. I'm definitely looking forward to it too, and I'm sure that everyone in here and out there is looking forward to it too. And I think on that note, it's a great time to close out our coverage of round 14 of the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series for 2016. This has been the Sao Paulo Super Sprint, and next round we're going to be racing at Road America, and as Mike said, it's going to be a deserving champion crown there, whoever it may be. So thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box, Dylan. It was really nice having you up here.
Yeah, thanks, man. I've had a ball. I didn't realise how much work you and Fonty have to put into it. So, yeah, big ups to you guys to finally see what goes on this side. And, yeah, I've really enjoyed myself.
Fantastic stuff to hear. And, of course, thank you very much to Fonty for directing duties. And thank you to all of you, the viewers out there, for your support of this series. Fonty, are you there? Do you have us? Planning to talk? Fantastic stuff. Thank you very, very much, Fonty, for your efforts, and thank you to Mike and Simon for coming up here, having a chat, and for helping to run the series. And as I reiterated, thank you very much to everyone out there, the viewers, for your support of this series. Of course, we say it every round, but it's true. Without you, we'd be absolutely nowhere. And this series is just made all the more better by your involvement. So thank you very much. So thank you very much for watching. You've been watching V8's Online's live coverage of round 14 of the 2016 Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premier Series. We've been racing it into Lagos, and now we're on to Road America to crown a champion. And we hope you'll join us in a few weeks' time to see that happen. V8's Online, the best race here. We'll see you next time. Brazil, a country with a rich history and sporting culture, and one of the greatest contributors to motorsport legend. Fitting, then, that its premier circuit in Sao Paulo is considered one of the world's greatest challenges. This weekend, we race at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Paz, otherwise known as Interlagos. This circuit is a throwback to ages past, while still remaining a great example of the modern racetrack. Its facilities may not be as clinical as other F1 venues, but out on the tarmac, this track is a treat. Its lap length is short for an F1 circuit at only 4.3 kilometers, but one gets a lot of racetrack crammed in there. Fast but twisty, with dips and rises at almost every one of its 15 corners, and with its fair share of heavy braking zones, Interlagos is a circuit for both the driver and the racer. The story of Interlagos begins in the 1920s. The world was in the middle of an economic boom, and a real estate company led by Luis Romero Sanson began planning a large expansion to Sao Paulo's metro area. Housing and a large sporting complex, including a motor racing circuit, were slated to be built between the two reservoirs that supplied the city with drinking water. It was from these reservoirs that the site got its name. The French urban planner Alfred Agache was working on the project, and the site reminded him of the town of Interlaken in Switzerland. The name literally means between lakes, so the site in Brazil became known as Interlagos, in reference to the Swiss town. Unfortunately, the 1929 stock market crash and Brazil's political climate meant that the plans came to nothing. In the following years, motor racing was held in Rio and Sao Paulo on dangerous public road circuits that resulted in many injuries and fatalities. The president of Brazil's automobile club urged Sanson to finish the Interlagos circuit in response, so that racing could continue in a safe environment. Sanson designed the original layout of Interlagos, taking inspiration from Roosevelt Field Raceway in the USA, Brooklands in England, and Montlhéry in France. The track's original layout was a nearly 8-kilometre maze of hairpins and sweepers. Much of this layout is actually still there today, used as parking and access roads. Ground was broken in 1938, and the track was eventually inaugurated in 1940. A lack of funding meant that initially there were no pit facilities or grandstands. As the decades went on though, Interlagos gained stature, hosting many events up to international level. It was such that by the 1970s, it had been selected for inclusion in the Formula One World Championship. The first official Brazilian Grand Prix was held in 1973 to great reception, but by the end of the decade, drivers were becoming concerned at the deterioration of the track's surface, which by this time was so bumpy that it was extremely dangerous in the stiff ground effect cars of the era. Funds were not forthcoming for the maintenance required, and so F1 made a full-time switch to the Jacarepaguá circuit in Rio de Janeiro. The 80s were a lean period for Interlagos, with only national races to fill its time. But as F1 standards for venues grew more stringent and Jacarepaguá could no longer afford to host the Grand Prix, Interlagos jumped at the chance and underwent major renovations to bring the Grand Prix back to Sao Paulo by 1990. The layout of the track was heavily revised, incorporating segments of the old layout linked by new sections, and some corners reprofiled and moved. Formula One returned in 1990 with great fanfare, and though safety modifications have regularly been made to the track since, mainly in and around the pits and start-finish area, Interlagos has remained on the Grand Prix calendar to this day. Interlagos came to iRacing in early 2013 after much controversy when Brazilian Customs held the team's laser scanning equipment. Fortunately, the track was scanned and released, and it has made appearances on the V8 Supercar racing schedules for much of the intervening time. But this is the first time that V8SCOPS will race at Interlagos, and we are employing the Super Sprint format, a 23-lap sprint and then a 29-lap feature with a compulsory pit stop. Join us, won't you? The Sao Paulo Super Sprint, the 14th and penultimate round of the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series.
A few years ago, members of the iRacing V8 Supercar community came together to articulate an idea. Then, on August 10, 2014, the V8 Supercars Online Premiere Series had its first race day at Circuit of the Americas, and Madison Down claimed the victory.
Madison down, the winner. Phil Sell second, Hampstead third, your podium, and Sean Kelly not far off it in fourth. For what a result, what a race.
This first test season, however, would go to TTL's Richard Hampstead. 2015 was a defining year in V8SCOPS, the first year-long championship in iRacing V8 Supercar history. The season was filled with many highs and lows. Few drivers were triumphant, most faced heartbreak. Young gun Jared Philsell was crowned our champion. But in 2016, it's a new championship and a new opportunity for our passionate sim racers. Who will be champion?